Yeah, hi everybody. We're live. It's myself and Lou Mars, and we want to thank everybody for showing up and helping us out here and participating because this is going to be a really good show. We've already got Michael Nolan here, and Michael Nolan has got a great show called The Bottom Line. And Michael's a real articulate speaker. He's gone through multiple Led Zeppelin albums, and he's doing an excellent job. I mean, he's almost a hero to me right now, along with Lou Mars, of course. But anyway,
I'm in the room.
and Michael, thank you very much for showing up. Much appreciated. We're going to get into this. First, I want to speak to how complicated this was for me because we had to like have some parameters on how we were going to do this. We were talking about musicians that died young and basically tragically. Okay, I mean, I would come across Louis Armstrong dead at 69 years old. Well, I love Louis Armstrong, but he's not a musician that died young. So first, I had to kind of set a time, a limit on age, except for some exceptions. Okay, you have to make a couple of exceptions, but I had to set kind of an age limit. And I think they said the average rock and roller lives in at like 45 years old.
It's
and
they're calling it the 57 club now.
Everybody's familiar with the 27 club, but I didn't want to focus on that either. I wanted to focus on musicians that died too young and primarily tragically and primarily famous. I couldn't grab any random band member that maybe most people haven't even heard of and throw it on the list because I'm telling you, the pages I printed out, there were pages with 30 people on it, maybe only one person that fit the criteria. So that's how we're going to get started. I wanted to start at 1960 and go forward.
Whoa.
But I had to grab one from 1959, and that was February 1959, referred to as the day the music died.
Oh God, yes.
Huge. And that's when Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, and Richie Valens all died in a chartered Beechcraft Bonanza right after takeoff. They were all touring together. They were on a tour bus, and they were absolutely freezing. Buddy Holly he really thought he was getting frostbitten in his feet. So they chartered a plane. They couldn't all fly on it. It was just going to be three of them and the pilot. So one of the guitar players and Richie Valens flipped a coin, and Richie Valens won, if you want to call it winning.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Got on the plane. And Waylon Jennings, who was a guitar player for Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper approached him and said, "Man, I am so sick. Could I please have your seat on the plane?"
His seat. Yes.
And so he gave him his seat on the plane. So now Waylon Jennings was no longer on the plane. Okay. And so what happened was before they all left, they were all together. And Buddy Holly looked over at Waylon and started laughing. And he goes, "You gave up your seat. I hope you freeze, on that damn bus." And now I'm going to quote from Waylon Jennings the 6 words that he has regretted ever since the day he said them. "Well, I hope you crash on that old plane." That was the last thing he said to Buddy Holly was, "I hope you crash."
Oh, man.
Can you imagine that? And of course,
I can't.
Naturally, Buddy Holly was a superstar already.
Yes.
Richie Valens had 4 hit songs out, and the Big Bopper just had Chantilly Lace. That was the only big hit he had out. But they were all touring together and having a great time.
They were all on top of their game on that tour, though. They were all big and rolling.
All big, yeah, all big. That's correct. I want to say hi to Caitlin in the chat and hi to Julia in the chat.
Hi, guys.
Good to see you, girls. And we started out in 1959. I wanted to go 60 forward, but we dropped back to 59 just because of the day the music died, when Richie Valens, the Big Bopper, and Buddy Holly all died in a plane crash. So now we're going to move on to 1960. Now I want to ask everybody in the chat. I would like as much participation as possible because there's going to be a whole lot that was left out. And I know, Caitlin, we've had a couple of monkeys die recently. You're probably going to want to really bring that up. But it's not just that, of course. Caitlin's a huge Monkeys fan. She's had Monkeys members on her show, Caitlin's Corner, before.
We just lost my favorite.
Yeah, no, me too. I mean, I grew up with
I love
him.
that guy. I got him. I think I got the Texas fly. Sorry.
Hey, Lou, where did you say you were in your van right now?
I'm looking for the map. I'm in Texas. I'm somewhere in Texas.
Okay, because you were thinking
it's
you
not
might even
Dallas.
as far as the mountains in Arizona when you came on tonight.
I was trying to get there. I didn't make it. And those three, you know, those tornadoes in Louisiana that just touched down last Wednesday or whatever it was? I was in the middle of those and I didn't know it.
Oh, man.
I saw all the stuff and I heard the warnings. So I just parked it. And then the next morning I went in a restaurant and I saw the news and there was devastation. I was like in a bubble. Yeah, unbelievable. There are three tornadoes.
Listen, I've got something I've got to repeat here. Frank James just made a comment in the chat. The promoter is responsible for Holly Valens and the Big Bopper's death. It was unnecessary for the crisscrossing scheduling of gigs by the promoter. And he mentions the word at the end, greed. So he kind of mixed up the schedule a little bit. And that's how they wound up on the plane. Hi, Gloria. How are you?
There's something new. Greed in the music business.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
We're just getting into this. We just covered the day the music died, where Richie Valens, Big Bopper, and Buddy Holly died. So we're going to move on now. We're going to start with the 60s. Now, if anybody in the chat wants to say anything, well, go ahead, and we can even bring you on. I know I have a link up at the top. It's got StreamYard in the middle of it. If anybody wants to click and they want to come on and tell a story, feel free to. I mean, any of you. I mean, James, Frank, Julia, Caitlin, Michael Nolan. Michael, you want to jump on and join the conversation, buddy? You're more than welcome to. Actually, it'd be appreciated.
I have one request.
Okay, go ahead.
I request, because we did just lose a fantastic artist and musician, Mr. Hawkins.
Okay.
We just lost him less than, has it even been 48 hours? It was Friday night.
It's barely 48 hours.
Before a show. I feel that in respect, we should just do a quick moment of silence for that individual.
Lou, I love that idea. Moment of silence for Hawkins, the drummer for the Foo Fighters. Okay, let's do that now. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Taylor Hawkins, we love you, man. Godspeed. You know, I just watched a video yesterday where you may have seen the same one where the Foo Fighters, the guy that started the band, the great anyway, he asked Taylor Hawkins if Taylor Hawkins would like to come up and sing a song.
That's David Grohl, and that's the last show that he ever played.
He went back to his old role and played the drums.
Yes.
And Taylor Hawkins got up there on the microphone and sang a song, Freddie Mercury song, a really good one, and it was just great.
Somebody to Love was the song.
Somebody to Love. Thank you.
Yeah,
did you watch the video?
Good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just watched one before I came on. Stuff's all over. That one I watched. That's the very last show he did. I think it was Brazil. I'm not sure. Might have been Argentina. The same thing.
Yeah.
But
so,
yeah, you were saying.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Oh, right before we came on, I'm linked to all that stuff. I got the message pretty quick. I'm linked in with all the drum stuff, so I got that news pretty early, and I'm blown away. And that's another thing we could talk about. I think would be interesting tonight is, when did you hear her? How did you hear her? Where were you when John Lennon got shot? That's interesting stuff, and
that's interesting stuff. Yeah.
How did it affect you? It's amazing how these people affect you.
Well, isn't that amazing though that David Grohl goes back and sits on the drums and lets his drummer come up and sing that song?
That's what I want to say. And what I just watched, and I never noticed before, was I just watched that Learning to Fly video again. Okay. One of their first Foo Fighter videos, remember? And they're all dressed up as the characters in the plane.
Right.
What I had not noticed before until today was how much the two of them are in that video more than anybody else,
Than
and they're
anybody
always
else.
together. Yes, and they're both dressed as women. and they're flirting with each other when they're men. It's hilarious.
Let me say hi to Mary real quick. Hi,
yes,
Mary.
please, go ahead.
Good to see you here. Okay. No, go on, Lou. I'm sorry.
No, and it was so difficult to watch. I had to stop the video before I came on because it was so. I was thinking two things. Man, these guys were close. I've had drummers in my band before. I'm a drummer first.
Right.
And I'm the front guy in my own band,
Okay,
though.
sure.
And I know what it's like to have a drummer. But the main thing is this. What about David Grohl right now? He lost, in his first band. A great loss with his singer, with Cobain.
Kurt Cobain.
And now he loses his drummer, who he was clearly was not just a drummer.
Isn't that crazy?
He was a friend. He was a partner.
Yeah.
You know, these bands like Foo Fighters, they're not just bands, they're family. He lost a serious family member Friday night.
No, that's right. They spend more time together than they spend with their families, you know?
Yeah, you're on the road in these little tin cans.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, man, I watched that, and it was heartbreaking.
Right.
So, and we're doing a show, and I want the folks to know that when we were talking about doing this, there was another show booked for tonight. I want to say this because I think it's important that I want people to know we're not jumping on this bandwagon about this topic.
No.
This was, you and I were talking, and we were talking about topics, and it kind of just morphed into this. And then after we had already decided to go, oh gosh, I guess it's kind of actually good timing to talk about this in a way.
Well, not only that, Lou, but I've been wanting to do something on the 27 Club for like 6 months now. And I think I might have mentioned that to you, and you said, well, why limit it to that group? You know?
I'm the one that told you. I said it's actually the 57 Club now because we've got all. It's true, but that's still a problem. That's still a problem. 57's not old, folks.
No,
the kid was 50. I call him a kid. He was 50 on Friday night. That's young. You shouldn't be dead at 50. John Lennon, 40, right? You shouldn't be dead or deceased at 40.
Yeah, no more than 40. Yeah.
I think he just turned 40.
Right.
Yeah, these people we're going to talk about tonight the majority of them are under 60 years old.
Oh yeah, no, I think just about everybody is. At least I tried to limit the list I made to, because I was trying to, younger musicians, younger rock stars. Yeah. And I don't mean I didn't limit it to rock. Okay. If I see a famous jazz musician, famous blues musician, maybe even a famous country star, I included some odd stuff too, and we'll get to that later. But we'll start.
I think it's great.
We'll start the 60s off with Eddie Cochran, who died at 21.
Remember Cochran? Yeah.
Eddie Cochran, a hell of a rock and roller, and like so many, surprisingly, this was a car crash with him. And
there's a lot of those.
I was gonna, I went back and forth on Marilyn Monroe. I actually have 2 Marilyn Monroe albums. One of them is Diamonds is a Girl's Best Friend.
She did sing. Yeah.
Yeah. She back in the day, they sang, they danced, and they acted to be an actor.
Yeah.
You had to be able to do all three. And I actually did a show on Marilyn Monroe. I think I had like 350 views or something. But anyway, so that's a brief mention. She was 36 years old. And she died of complications of barbiturate overdose. Suspicious is in parentheses.
Some people, think there was murder involved or foul play.
Well, yeah, and one of the I have a double album set, and then I have Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, and they both have Happy Birthday, Mr. President on them.
So, Tony Curtis should have been doing that.
They know more about this suspicion.
It should have been a duet, Tony Curtis and Marilyn. That would have been great.
Next one on my hey, Adam D just joined the chat. Thank you very much, Adam. It's really good to see you. And Daddy Boggs. Oh my God, the Bogster's here. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. And Frank James once again says Gene Vincent was also in the car crash with Eddie Cochran.
Oh wow,
they were in there together. Thank you, Frank. Man, you're a world of knowledge.
Did Eddie Cochran do? Did Eddie Cochran do "Summertime Blues"? Was he the first one?
He was the original with that. Did you know?
Yeah. God, that was a great song.
Yeah, that was a great song. Didn't 10 Years After do that too?
The Who covered it. It
The Who covered
smashed it. Yeah, they took it to a whole. Well, I first heard the Who do it, and that's when I had my old man's like, "That's a cover." That's a cover, son. Oh.
Well, the next name I had, and I welcome everybody to throw names out. We'll discuss it, but I had Patsy Cline, the country singer.
Oh, huge!
Patsy Cline died at 30 years of age.
God, I didn't realize she was that young when she died.
I didn't either. That's a shocker to me. And let's see that her cause of death.
People are going to hate this. Women looked older then.
Was a crash.
Another auto crash.
Huh?
Another auto crash.
Yeah, another auto crash. Yeah. And then I have bluesman Elmore James. He was 45. He died of a heart attack. I love the blues. I used to belong to the Blues Society in San Luis Obispo, and I wound up going on a blues cruise to the Caribbean.
Oh, right on. That would be fun.
And every night was a blues act, and that was fun. Frank James and Blue Cheer. Okay. Gloria, Selena. Yeah, Selena. Who could forget the movie where J-Lo played Selena? What a fantastic job she did. I mean, that was beyond believable, really.
I think the only person that looked more like the person they played would have been what was his name? The actor for Jim Morrison who played Jim Morrison. It was uncanny. Yeah. What's his name? Somebody out there in the chat. What's his name?
Somebody out there knows it. Yeah, he played in Top Gun too, right?
All kinds of Tombstone. He stole the show.
Yeah. Huge star.
Oh gosh, Val Kilmer came to me. Val Kilmer without cheating. I didn't Google it. Woo!
It's hell getting older, isn't it?
Oh, that file. Blow the dust off. Val Kilmer. He came on the screen. I'm like, holy shit! It's Jim Morrison. It looked like Jim Morrison.
Well, I just want to say to Gino Powell, that Patsy Cline, he says it was a plane crash. And see, the notes I had just said crash, but maybe I should have known. Might have said accident. Gloria finally came up with Val Kilmer. Thank you very much, Gloria.
Hey, confirmed.
Okay, so the next one I had in the 60s, hey, Daddy Boggs, you're going to love this. Sam Cooke.
Oh, huge. I forgot about Sam Cooke.
Yeah.
How did he die?
Mind. Okay, well, Sam Cooke at the age of 33, shot by Bertha Franklin.
What?
So
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I bet Boggs knew it. He's a huge fan.
Sam Cooke was massive.
I've got a Sam Cooke album.
Holy crap! I didn't know that. I'll be darned.
He got shot at the hotel. Daddy Boggs just said, "Thank you for that."
I knew we were going to have help with our participants tonight. They're going to save our lives.
Yeah, I know. The participants are going to save our lives.
Better stay around, people. It's going to be like one of those games. We got to dial in.
One of my favorite songs says Julia's Cupid by Sam Cooke. Yeah, no, that's a great song. I like the one, if you ever change your mind about leaving me behind, bring it on home to me, I love that song.
What a voice. It's
that
guy could sing Mary Had a Little Lamb and it'd be a hit.
Right.
Come on.
Right. Who do we have here? We have somebody to add to the stream here.
Oh, we got someone coming in.
Okay, Dan.
There he is.
Thank you.
I almost knew it before he sat down because of the lighting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you guys that we started in the 60s, although I jumped back to the 50s to get The Day the Music Died. Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, Richie Valens, and that group. And but we've long since covered that, and I keep updating it every time somebody new joins. But we're kind of past it now. So we're in the 60s, and we're throwing names out. And of course, people that died too young. There's a whole lot of older people I skipped, but Nat King Cole. Nat King Cole, lung cancer at 45.
Wow. I remember him dying, but I didn't remember why on that either.
Right.
I remember hearing about it. I was not around.
Yeah. Hey, Bill K just joined us. Hey, thank you, Bill. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah. Okay, so that was Nat King Cole.
The cavalry is here to help us.
Yeah, I know. Then another one we have here, another bluesman, Sonny Boy Williamson.
I don't know
Sonny
that
Boy
name.
Williamson died at 39 of a brain tumor.
So we've got more natural causes. So at this point, you see in time what's happening here. At this point of time, we've got it's an accident. Right. It's an accident.
Oh, yeah.
It's smoking. It's cancer. Right.
Yeah.
Or there's shot.
I know where you're going with that.
I'm just going to see how this evolves. Okay. So let's see what's happening to our artists today. What's happening to us?
Right.
I'm one of them.
Okay. So then we have, and I was surprised. I didn't realize he would be on the list, but John Coltrane, jazz, died at 40. Died at 40.
Wow.
Liver cancer and hepatitis B.
Natural causes. Okay.
Yeah.
But dying young still.
I didn't know he died. John Coltrane died that young. You know.
Gosh, you're starting to wonder about the business a little bit there on the stress levels or something. I mean, come on.
Well, here's what I've been wondering about for a couple of days now. What might we've got from some of these artists? You know, like Led Zeppelin broke up when John Bonham died. Jimi Hendrix died. That was the end of the Jimi Hendrix experience. The Doors tried to go on a little bit without Jim Morrison. But how much more amazing music? I mean, would they still be like Led Zeppelin and Jimi Hendrix are my favorites, and I love the Doors. Would they still be my favorites today? Because I still listen to both of them. All three of them. Sorry.
A good example of that would be AC/DC when they lost Bon Scott.
Right.
You know, and they tried to make a comeback with Brian Johnson. They didn't know if it was going to work or not, and come to find out, it was just as big a success with Brian Johnson as it was with Bon Scott. So
that's right.
Sometimes the band will take a risk and it'll be successful.
Right. That's exactly right. But I just wonder. I know Jimi Hendrix did a lot of experimenting and stuff, and I know like the Jimi Hendrix Experience, there was no skipping songs or fast forwarding. I had to hear every one of them. And as time went on, I know that there was some that I wasn't as excited about. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just wonder how all that would have evolved.
I think I know where you're going with that, and I think part of the problem. This is my opinion. I'm going to put out there for people throw crap at the screen, but I think part of the problem with the 27-year-old club was the reason some of those guys were okay. Again, this is an opinion. With tapping out. They had learned that if they did it at the top of their game, they were instant legends. Whereas if they didn't, it's almost like the song. Was it Bob Seger who said better to burn out than fade away? It wasn't Seger who said that. Bottom line is they bought into that. And they're like, you know what? I'm just going to explode out. And now you'll never know. You'll never know if I would have not faded out or anything. But the truth is most bands do.
I think that was Neil Young that sang that.
Yeah, was Young. Thank you.
See, that's why we got the voice of reason here. What was the song? Rock and roll is na-na-na. Oh, it's a great song. I can hear it now. I can hear it too. He's hit some weird chord. I love that guy.
I've always loved Neil Young. Going way back to the '60s.
Well, speaking of
what was funny, I did a Neil Young podcast, and I didn't know when I scheduled a podcast that he was in this fight on Spotify with Joe Rogan. Not liking where Joe Rogan was coming from, so it wound up being real controversial. A lot of people were backing Joe Rogan and were really pissed at Neil Young for that. And it was I wasn't in the least bit political. I mean, I like Neil Young, and I was doing a show on him like I tried to do on almost everybody. But anyway, Zep Pearl, Hey My was the name of the song. Thank you very much.
People are saving us. I love the people today.
Neil Young, Neil Young is the only artist I knew that could sing out of key and sound good.
Some people consider him the father of grunge. How about that solo he did with one note? What song was that? Was that
that thing? I think it was Down by the River. Down by the river.
It was a long
I counted
solo.
it one time. It was like ridiculous amount of time. 30 something.
Right.
Because I was teaching a student. He goes, I go, watch this. He bends one note for over 30 some odd times. Kid's like, no way. I go, what?
Yeah. Right.
Speaking of that though, videos were great talent mixed. I was just watching a Wilburys video.
Oh yeah,
24 hours ago when this all started coming out, and you had George Harrison. They were in the train box, traveling when he had Tom Petty, and it was really cool. They had just lost, to bring this home of how this relates. They had just lost Roy Orbison. Yeah, so they had the chair rocking with just the guitar, his guitar in it when his voice came on. It was beautifully done. Great video. All these top rock stars acting like they were back at the start again, traveling around like with nothing. George is gone now. He's in that video. I was looking in that room, at the talent.
I think Jeff Lynne's the only one left.
Is that? Yeah, you're right. From ELO.
Jeff Lynne may be the only one left.
Yeah,
that's right.
Wait a minute. Is Dylan gone? I can't remember.
Dylan's here.
Okay, Dylan's in that.
Yeah,
Dylan was in there too. How in the heck is Dylan still here? Love you, Dylan. Sorry, Dylan, but how in the heck? Holy cow!
He has a connection with Keith Richards.
Yeah, well, I think he's just so angry. He's so angry. It seems like the people that are smiling.
I love that joke where people are worrying, what kind of a world are we going to leave Keith Richards?
The cockroaches and Richards. God bless Keith Richards, rock and roll.
God.
God bless him.
Absolutely.
He takes a big hammer.
The next two that I have, and Woody Guthrie, he's one of the older ones that I put on here, but he was 55 years old and he died of Huntington's disease.
Natural causes.
Yeah, I enjoyed the music back in the
Young
day.
people listen out there right now. There's a difference in how musicians are dying. Got to stop this stuff.
That's right. Okay, the next one I'm going to bring up from the 60s, and I will tell you, there was a time when I would probably consider him my favorite artist. And if there's anybody out there that's listened to Sitting on the Dock of the Bay more times than I have, somebody please introduce me to him. I want to shake his hand. Because I must have listened to that song.
I love that song.
And of course, that's Otis Redding, died at 26 years old.
Wow. I didn't realize he was so young.
A plane crash.
Oh.
And I mean, I loved Otis Redding's music.
Oh, if you sit in San Francisco and you listen to that song, it's just, between that one and Lights Go Out in the City, it's Journey. When you listen to songs where they were written, it's amazing.
Amazing.
It is amazing. Get your sourdough, your wine, that song. Oh my God.
Right.
It's an experience.
That's great. Yeah, totally. And then another bluesman here died at the age of 37, and that was Little Walter. Coronary thrombosis due to injuries sustained when he was beaten.
Wow.
So somebody beat him bad, and he had some kind of coronary thing, and that's pretty crazy, isn't it?
That's sad.
Yeah.
There's two auto crashes I can think of coming up that are big, but you'll probably get to them.
Well, let's check in with the chat here for a minute because we're getting a lot of comments.
Oh yeah. I knew this would light up.
Daddy Bog says Keith Richards used to babysit Willie Nelson.
That's harsh. My God.
And then Bill Kay says Woody Guthrie was an American songwriter, musician, writer, and political activist who died with Huntington's disease in 1967, the age of 55. Yeah, that's correct. Hey, Michael Nolan, how you doing, buddy? Jim Croce, so sad. Yeah, Jim Croce.
Yeah, Jim. What year was Jim?
Oh my God, I love
that. 74, I think.
Yeah, 73, 74.
Yeah.
I was in high school.
There was a bad period there because we lost the singer of Three Dog Night. Didn't we lose him too from an auto accident about same round 76?
Okay.
And then Teddy Pendergrass, remember TKO?
Oh yeah.
That was a great song, man. I love that song. Soul. There was our soul singer. Just looks like another TKO. He was so smooth, and then he gets in the head on.
I've got a huge playlist on my computer here, iTunes. But Daddy Bog, and I've got this guy's music on there. Daddy Bog brought up Scott McKenzie, San Francisco, the song San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
What a huge song that was.
You better be if you're going to name it after a city like that. I'm going to write the San Francisco song, and I'm going to call it San Francisco. You better be badass.
Gloria wrote, the Bee Gees wrote "To Love Somebody" for Otis Redding.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
What did the Bee Gee die? What did so and we lost Andy Gibb, speaking of Bee Gees, and then we lost the other Gibb, Robin.
Yeah.
So I think Barry ended his life. No, not Barry. Andy ended his life, right? I think after he broke up with Victoria Principal, didn't he?
Yeah. It was. He
never got over
drugs/suicide there. I have that written down.
He never got over that.
No.
And then we lost the other BG later on from what?
Yeah.
Do we know? That was natural cause, I think.
Gloria knows all about it.
Gloria will know.
Mo Robin.
Help us out, Gloria. You've got a BG fan out there? I love the Bee Gees. Hey, ask her if she likes. Does she like the 68 Bee Gees best of better than the late 70s Bee Gee album? Those are two majorly different albums, but they're both awesome. You've got the regular voice Bee Gees, and then you've got the high voice Bee Gees.
Right.
Tragedy, and then you've got When the World Goes Round. You know that version. I love it.
I've got some comments here I need to read. Bill Kay says today marks 49 years since harmonica pioneer Little Walter Jacobs died as a result of injuries sustained during a fight at a Chicago bar the previous
People looking it up for us.
He was taking a break from performing. Wow. And then John Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas wrote San Francisco from Daddy Bob. Let's see, Gloria, no.
We forgot about Mama Cass.
Saying he was sober. Okay. And then Bill Kay says, with his heart greatly weakened from years of cocaine abuse, Andy Gibb succumbed to an inflammatory heart virus on March 10th, 1988. He was only 30 years old.
Wow. Oh,
unbelievable.
Man. Good-looking young man. He had everything.
Yes, everything. Yeah.
Solo career. His brothers were helping him. Jeez.
Didn't he have his own TV show as well?
Yes,
he was going.
He was huge. Yeah. Mary Jane says she loves the 68 Bee Gees.
I do too. That yellowish. That's a great album.
Well, the next person, Andy died of an enlarged heart. Yeah, thank you. Mama Cass, heart attack. Yeah, not choking on a ham sandwich. No, that's right.
No.
In fact,
that was terrible stuff people did then.
I know. Mama Cass died in London at the same flat that Keith Moon died at, owned by Harry Nilsson.
You said that last time. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And I think Andy died of a broken heart. I'm still going with that. That guy was so broken up over that. I remember back then.
Yeah.
He was crushed, and she just was like, didn't care. It was bad.
Well, he was using a lot of drugs probably during the relationship too. Maybe that was
Yeah.
No, what do I know about that?
Well, here's what we know. We know what it's like to lose love, and when you're already broken, it's not a good thing. You know, you need somebody to pull you out to help you out.
Yeah,
if you can't get yourself out.
Hopelessness can really set in. But then Zep Pearl brought up Leonard Skinner's plane crash, and I have that on my.
Oh yeah,
we just have
another huge one.
That are still in the 60s. We're working our way up. And Michael Nolan says, "Great minds think alike, Gloria." Right on. Gloria's
the later Bee Gees album is genius too. It's genius too. They reinvent themselves completely. It's an amazing album. But that 68 album, whew.
And Gloria's saying, and she's a big, Bee Gees fan, and he chose drugs versus Victoria. And that's a sad commentary.
You know, I don't know whether it's true or not, but either way, he made a bad choice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Either way,
that was the wrong girl and the wrong thing to be put in your body. It was a lose-lose. I mean, you young people out there learn from that.
I know.
It's true. Those are two bad things.
Bill Kay chimed in with Mama Cass Elliot, one of the most memorable and charismatic members of the Los Angeles-based folk rock group, the Mamas and the Papas. That's right. Died in her sleep in a London apartment. Yeah, a flat owned by Harry Nilsson in London. Same place Keith Moon died. He used to let his friends stay there, Anyway, so let's see who we got next year. Wes Montgomery, 45 of a heart attack. And then we go to, I threw this in. I don't know how people feel about it. I kind of like the idea. Judy Garland. She played Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz.
She was a singer.
And yeah, she was a great singer. I can remember at a younger age, she was still doing these shows, singing and dancing. It was spectacular, you know. And she died at 47, complications of a barbiturate overdose.
Whoa, she was ahead of her time.
You don't need much of a complication with barbiturates. You just take a little bit too much, and the complication is you die.
You like the way they softened the S word on that one. That's, you know, that was, you didn't want to mention that on the news back then. So, and they didn't want to discolor the person's passing. So a little more respect on that back then.
I got to say one thing about barbiturates and that. I grew up in just outside of Las Vegas in Henderson, Nevada, and everybody worked in Las Vegas. And I'll tell you, being a 24-hour city, some of those people working in those casinos, they took amphetamines during the day, and then they went home and had to take barbiturates to sleep, you know. And pretty crazy. No, go ahead. That's all.
No, I got to say something on top of that, because you triggered me on that one, because also on top of the person earlier who was talking about the greed in the music business.
Yeah.
So, we've seen this in the Beach Boys story. I've experienced it myself personally, where we were supposed to have a 4-month tour, 1 month off, 2 months back on. And next thing you know, we're doing 6 months straight, 1 week off. And then we're going in the winter in New York, right? And the bus is trudging through snow. And here they are in the back room. Hey, you get into the green room. The palm opens up. Take your pick. Which one you want? It's like Pink Floyd, you know, where they you know, let's get them back on, get them ready for the show. That stuff's true. And the next thing you know, you're popping those things every night. You're playing every night. You're playing with cuts. And this is kind of how it snowballs and happens. I'm not saying it's an excuse, but it's part of the problem of why we lost a recent guy just now who was hours before a show getting ready to go on. And may have been a little exhausted. 10
different substances were found in his system.
He was having heart problems and complained about it before. So I'm not going to get into that with him because it's not been reported in respect to his family. But for the rest of us out there, it's information to the group coming up. This kind of show can help people that, you know, we just talked about Andy Gibb. You're going to have a broken heart. It's not worth it. You're going to get on tour. Back off. Tell them not. It's too much. It's too much.
Right. Well, you got Bill Kay here saying that Judy Garland actually died from an accidental barbiturate overdose.
So it's accidental.
I can see that happening, you know. Well, I've got stories, but this isn't the right time.
Accidentally popped the bottle cap off and dumped the bottle in my mouth.
I'm barely starting to tell some of the stories from my youth that I wouldn't repeat for 54 years.
Let me get the couch out.
I'm not ready to let it all out yet, you know.
There I was. Yeah.
But let's see, Michael Nolan, we love you, Judy. Yeah, we did love Judy Garland. She was fantastic. And he also
I met Liza. She was a hoot.
He also said that Jeff Emmerich spoke of working with Garland at EMI, Abbey Road, and this genius of a man was nothing but impressed with the amazing vocal abilities. Oh yeah, she was so iconic, you know. She was a fantastic entertainer. Okay.
Yeah, that was back when movie stars were, like you said, movie stars. I mean, wow, they could do it all. I think vaudeville was to do with that. You know, you had to do everything in vaudeville.
We had to do everything to even be an actor. You had to act, sing, and dance. You know,
Sammy Davis Jr. What a great example.
Oh yeah. You
know, that guy could play. You ever seen him play the drums? That guy can kick ass on the drums too. Yeah.
Well, the next one on my list was one of the founding members of the Rolling Stones, and that's Brian Jones.
Yeah.
And,
saxophone, right?
He had some kind of he had to use an inhaler and stuff, and so he had some kind of problem with his lungs. And I read that they didn't really know for sure, but that may have contributed to him drowning in his own pool in his own house. But then the story I have here says he drowned due to liver dysfunction and indigestion.
I thought there was a party that had occurred.
There was a party, and he went out and got in the pool, and he wound up dying in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
And wasn't he 27?
Yes.
He might be part of that club.
So
I think he's 27. Part of the club. Yeah. And let's see. Next, I have
the leader of the band. He was the leader of the band back then.
Yeah, he was the
He
leader.
was the leader of the Rolling
He
Stones.
was the leader. I mean, Mick Jagger was starting to get a little more attention, and stuff like that. I think that played into some of the conflict that was taking place and stuff like that. But there's so many different stories. I don't know how accurate that is. But Magic Sam was next on my list, another bluesman, died of a heart attack at 32 years old.
Wow.
Not familiar. That's crazy.
Yeah, it really is, And
I didn't realize how much drugs were rampant even back then until I saw the Gene Krupa story and the Ray Charles story. They're, booting up heroin? What? How do you know it was around then?
And that's exactly how I feel, hearing those stories.
Yeah, I was shocked.
I didn't know how rampant they were either.
Krupa with weed in the 30s and 40s? He was caught with joints? What?
I thought everybody just drank back then.
Just drank. And that's what I thought too.
Blew my mind.
I found that all these guys 5 and 6, 7 years older than me were like all on heroin,
So you wonder if they're having heart attacks at these young ages. If I'm not trying to dirty up their, but was that part of the cause?
Right.
It seems unusual. Just like you said, they're handing you pills like in Vegas to stay up and to keep going.
And you keep going. Yeah.
Show must go on.
There's a lot of that going on there. And so here's let's see, Michael Nolan again, everybody, from The Bottom Line. He's got a great show. Michael Nolan, The Bottom Line. Definitely got to give him a shout out. And Spiral Tap drummer died because their amps were turned up to 11.
He died in every show. They lost their drummer in every show.
They'd explode or something.
Yeah, he self-combusted. It was fantastic.
Right.
It's kind of like the kid in South Park that
That's
always blows
great.
up.
It's almost hard. It's almost hard to keep up with the chat. I mean, it's a really
busy. I told you they were gonna. We talked about. I said they're gonna go on fire on this. Is Karen Carpenter on the list? She better be on the list. Karen Carpenter.
She's not on my list. No.
What? Okay, we need to add her.
Well, I don't know.
Folks,
Maybe she is. We'll start with the 70s right now. Frank James says America was rampant.
What year did she die? She's got to be on the cusp. I think she's on the cusp.
Huh?
I think Karen Carpenter's on the cusp.
She was like 82.
What?
Okay.
Oh, I thought it was like 70s, early 70s.
No, it was about like 82.
Okay. Yeah.
Holy crap,
I can't say I don't have her yet, but
oh, my bad. I was thinking we missed her.
I gotta keep an eye on. Hey, Linda Foster just joined. Linda, how you doing?
Early 80s are my lost years.
Say hello, Linda.
I lost
everybody say hi to Linda Foster.
Hey, Linda.
Linda.
Exactly. Michael Nolan says Reefer Madness tells us Mary Jane was evil. Oh yeah, I remember watching that in my health class in 7th grade, and this guy was smoking a joint. And he looked in the mirror and he had a gorilla face.
I thought it was a werewolf. I remember the film going, and he smokes a joint. He looks in the mirror. I remember a werewolf.
And I don't know which one it was.
Do you remember what happens next? It's my favorite part. He turns and suddenly runs and jumps off the balcony. And everyone in the class went, and I was like, all I could think of was, man, I got to get some of that. I want to be a werewolf.
Hey, I got a funny story, okay? I was in health class, and our teachers wanted us to know what marijuana smelled like when they were showing us Reefer Madness. So I'm not going to mention his name, but he was one of the biggest heads in our whole school. He was a couple of years older than me. They had him hold a strainer with pot burning in it. And we all got to walk up and walk past it to see what it smelled like, so we could recognize it and know, we were in a bad situation.
So
and every time somebody walked by, Leo would glance over at the teacher, pull it over close, and breathe it in.
That was the day there was a brownie shortage at the cafeteria, right? Where'd all the brownies go?
When in 1968, I was a 6th grader, and I'd never heard of pot. I didn't know anything about drugs as a 6th grader. I was 11 years old. Well, the police department comes in to give us a demonstration, and they had this big fold out thing, and they got all these pills and marijuana joints up on there, and they had different names for it.
Educating you.
But they're telling us, if you smoke this, you'll get high. You feel really good.
I'm not going to get this.
Don't do it. I'm going, oh, wait a minute. Now you got my curiosity up.
Reverse psychology. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's terrible. It's
and
terrible.
you know what? Less than 3 years later, I was smoking it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but I had no clue. I had no clue until they showed me what it was.
I got to do a quick shout out to another great show host. He's got a great show if you want to look him up and watch him, Mr. Bizarro.
Oh,
Bizarro's back.
Yeah, that was a fun night. You know, you guys both drummers.
It's for you.
But Michael Nolan, the bottom line, and Mr. Bizarro, those are two of my favorite shows to watch. They're great.
Good guys.
Not to diminish one of my favorite shows, or maybe my favorite show, is Dan McNew here, and Caitlin on the chat, and we've got a lot of good shows. But I tell you, these guys are good. They're really they really do their homework.
The pros.
They're not in a panic 2 minutes before the show.
What panic?
We won't talk about that. Okay. And Gloria says using preparation H on their face to look young.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I haven't thought about that. You know?
I think they're trying to give us a clue.
I think I need some.
You know, I don't think I have that in my little thing there. But thanks for the tip.
Okay. Bill K did have a Karen Carpenter comment that I missed.
Yeah, he said,
singer who long suffered under the burden of the expectations that came with her pop star, died February 4th, 1983, succumbing to heart failure brought on by anorexia.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just a sad story. It has. I hate to show my ignorance, but has there been a Karen Carpenter movie story out?
There has. Yeah, I believe so. Long time ago.
Yeah. Gosh, that seems like something they should do again or something.
Right.
Ideas. Hollywood, you're redoing Superman 58. How about Karen Carpenter 2? Let's try that one.
I was wondering.
Julia here is asking Caitlin, not Caitlin. Let's see. It was Gloria. If the preparation H works.
Well, on one area it does.
I never tried to phase, but you know.
Right.
Everybody's injecting themselves now.
We're in the
we're in the deep end.
We're in the 80s. Okay.
All right.
No, we're in the 70s. God, I got to get moving here. Okay. I have.
I'm waiting for you to get in the 2000s.
I have Slim Harpo. I'm going to try to pick up the pace here.
Spin the highlight reel.
Slim Harpo, blues, died of a heart attack. Then we go to Tammy Terrell, and I remember Tammy Terrell and let's see, soul music. Not Otis Redding, but Marvin Gaye. Wasn't Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell would do these duos? Gosh. And great song. Anyway, she was great. She died of a brain tumor. Alan Wilson from Canthe. I know that's not a big name, but that was
the band Canthe.
That was my first concert.
Okay.
Oh yeah, right on.
And I did love
my first concert.
I didn't know all the members' names, but he died suicide or accidental barbiturate overdose.
Accidental.
And then of course another 27 Club member.
Yep.
Maybe my favorite musician of all time, Jimi Hendrix.
Yep.
27 years old, of course. Asphyxia on vomit after consuming an unhealthy amount of barbiturates.
Passed out on his back, in other words, soon.
Yeah.
Always roll your buddies onto their stomach.
Try to get them over.
You know, you can just imagine how easy that. I mean, I woke up. I mean, I wasn't even drinking. You know, maybe what I ate or something. But I woke up not being able to breathe, you know, from like some kind of acid reflux or something. And I mean, a couple of times, I don't know how long I hadn't been breathing when I woke up, you know.
You don't want that in your lungs.
Imagine being on a bunch of barbiturates and that happens, you know.
Yeah, you're not.
So anyway, that's a real sad one for me because that was a huge loss for me when that happened, you know. And then of course Janice Joplin 2 weeks later. I mean, who didn't love Janice Joplin, you know? And 27 Club also, she died 2 weeks later. And same year, 27 Club, Jim Morrison.
Happens in threes.
That's three huge ones for me because I love all three of them, you know.
So we have a reset right now. We just have a 1. So this question is, who are the next 2 this year? That's what I'm worried about.
Oh, yeah. No kidding, huh?
I've got a far-reaching connection with Jim Morrison.
Okay.
His dad was an admiral in the Navy.
Oh, I thought you meant like a different way.
So when I was in the Navy, I was stationed overseas. I was out in the South Pacific, and Jim Morrison's father was my admiral.
Oh, wow. That's
I
cool.
remember you saying that before. That's right. And you had
that is worthy.
Yeah. I think I watched a video of him talking about his son after that. Have you seen that? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Let's see. JB Tharp joined us. Hey, JB, how you doing, brother?
Let me try to look at the chat.
I know you've been real busy traveling around and stuff, but he said Robert Johnson, I believe the original 27, and I think you're right. Robert Johnson. That's an interesting story because that's where the story of the Crossroads came from. Robert Johnson.
Julia, go ahead.
Robert Johnson was playing in the bars and stuff, and he was considered kind of a good average bluesman. And then all of a sudden he disappeared. Nobody knew where he went. I think he was gone for a couple of years, and when he came back, he played ungodly blues. And so the story was developed that he went down to the Crossroads and sold his soul to the devil to be a better guitar player, better blues player. And that's where that whole Crossroads story came from, that Eric Clapton and so many people have covered over the years, So anyway, I'm a big fan of Robert Johnson. I think I have 4 CDs of his. I bought this big set in a big box one time. And it's different music. It really is. It's not going to remind you of too much of the blues you hear now, but the guitar playing is just really a lot of talent. These are the people that started out on beat up old guitars that sometime were missing 2 strings, and they had to play that way for a long time. But anyway,
I was going to answer Julia's thing in the chat. I saw Julia go, Lou lives in a van. It's called van life. I had an apartment on the beach, left it in August. I've been traveling since last year. Yes. Now I'm traveling.
Florida, New Orleans.
I'm everywhere. So,
and weren't you right in the middle of the tornadoes you were saying? Dan's from Texas.
Louisiana last week, the 3 tornadoes touched down. I was in the middle of them. I didn't realize it. Yeah, wow. I've been the last 3 months. 3 weeks. I've been all the way across the country and back. Yeah. Right. That's way cool. Eddie and I want to do the same thing. Yeah. Just answer it. I'll plan it again. I'm looking at parking it in June because I have to finish an album up in Monterey at Wave Street Studios. I want to go up there and wrap up. So I'll be back.
Is that your own album?
Oh yeah, that'll be mine. The book first. Book's got to come out in August, hardcover. Okay. So that's why I can do this and write and teach from abroad. Right. So works out. Oh,
I know.
What happened? We lost somebody.
Okay, I've got a big name coming up. I'll go. Gene Vincent, 36 years old, a burst peptic ulcer, died of a burst ulcer. Gene Vincent, and that's kind of that brings up some not so good memories for me. I heard my mother scream, and I got out of bed and walked in the kitchen. My father was sitting there. He was supposed to be having breakfast, but he was sitting in a pool of blood, because he had ulcers that ruptured, and he was basically choking to death on his own blood. Just fortunately, our doctor next door hadn't moved to the golf course yet. He was still next door, and I ran over there and banged on the door, and he came over. And I guess they say if he hadn't been there to help, my father would have died on the kitchen floor, sitting in a pool of blood.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was a bleeding ulcer, and they told him, "Don't ever drink again. It's going to kill you." And so after that, he was Father of the Year. It was fantastic. Anyway,
I heard that same line.
Yeah.
I was told that in 1991. Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Wow. Did you ever drink again? And then ironically, I was in it's funny you mentioned that. This is kind of weird. I was told that after I toured MTV Ball and Chain Tour, we were warming up for Social D and stuff. And I had liver failure from drinking all the time and doing other substances.
Okay.
And I was given that line that you were just told that your father, was it your father you just said had that?
Yeah, my father, yeah.
So get this, fast forward 2000, I was the Millennium Dad of the Year in Sesame Street magazine and also in Parent magazine. I just recently posted it.
You put that article up and I saw it.
Yeah, so I was so what a turnaround, same thing.
Yeah.
Man, that hit me. You just said that. What a weird
amazing. Yeah.
Serendipity type of moment.
Funny how things get triggered, So
you get your shit together.
I mentioned Gene Vincent, and Daddy Boggs says Bebopalula, Bebopalula.
The Big Bopper.
Yeah.
You're my baby. Bebopalula. It's a good song. The 50s and the 80s had something in common: silly music. And my theory is, it is, right? And my theory is because there was no war. It's the only 2 decades where we were not actually physically at war with anybody.
Oh,
and the music's silly.
Yeah.
Everything's happy. Yeah,
wow.
everything's happy.
Wow.
Pinka dot bikini and all blah blah, silly stuff, twist and shout. And in the 80s, you've got the same kind of weird, silly songs. And all I'm standing here on the ground. You can dance if you want to. Same thing.
I guess that just the facts, Dan, his internet just crashed. He said he'll be back shortly. Okay,
I saw him vanish. I thought I upset him.
The next one on the list is a biggie for me, and that is Duane Allman of the Allman Brothers.
Oh gosh, that was big.
The guy that taught Eric Clapton to play slide guitar, and he later got to play for George Harrison While My Guitar Gently Weeps slide guitar, paying George back for them writing a song together. When Clapton was leaving the Cream, every member said all of them were tasked with writing a song. And so Clapton called up his buddy George Harrison, and Ringo was there too. Ringo was just over there drinking, sitting at the table, and they were trying to come up with the words for a song. And Ringo goes, "Well, what do you got so far?" And he turned the page, and the name of the song was supposed to be Bridge, and he goes, "Badge." You got to name it Badge. And they said, "Okay, we like that better than Bridge." They said Badge, and then they got stuck in a place, and something about a girl named Mabel or something, I can't remember the exact words. And they were stuck and they just couldn't get beyond the spot. And Ringo goes, "It sounds like a girl named Mabel," or something like that. And they wrote it down. And that's how the song came together. And it wound up being a hit.
More credit to Ringo.
So,
for those of you who followed us on the drum thing.
And so,
Ringo, we love you.
George Harrison, Eric Clapton paid George Harrison back because that wound up on the Cream. That was Eric Clapton's song he was tasked with writing.
That's awesome.
For the last album. So he paid George Harrison back by playing slide guitar that he was taught by Duane Allman on While My Guitar Gently Weeps. So that was a little trade there. So anyway,
Ringo should be sending us a little gift soon. We're going to get a little Buster flower buffet from Ringo. Thank you, man. Peace, love. Thank you for backing me again. Bringing me back in.
Okay, what do we have here next? We've got.
I know, I'm Cookie.
No. Well, and I don't know how many people have heard of this guy, but I love the Temptations so much I could not leave it out.
Shit, yeah.
Paul Williams, the Temptations, died at 34.
I didn't know that.
Gunshot wound that was also disputed. Was it suicide or what? Wow. So that was kind of in dispute there. Now this one really hits home because I really love this guy's music. Jim Croce.
Oh God.
Croce.
Yeah.
In him and his lead guitarist, Murray Mulhausen, both died in a plane crash.
That was another one. There we go. Planes back then.
Oh my God.
Don't get on them. They
really
didn't have our shit together.
Crazy.
The small ones at least.
Yeah. I mean, I had a plane, and I can attest to the fact that we had some times in that plane, flying over the mountains, and the generator dies, so it's no longer charging the battery. So none of the gauges are working except for the ones that are working through static air, But all the gauges, fuel gauges and everything dropped to zero. There's no lights inside. There's no lights outside. We're crossing the mountains. Then we get to the Paso Robles airport to land, and they've got what's called pilot control lighting. You have to click your mic 5 times to turn the runway lights on. Well, guess what?
You don't have it.
The battery's dead, right?
I didn't think of that.
I come in for my first landing, and I hit some ground effect, and the plane starts swirling all over the place.
Oh my God.
And you can't even hardly see the runway. And I said,
"Oh my God."
I shoved the throttle in, pulled back, and I did a go around. If you don't feel comfortable, just do a go around.
Yep, pop back up.
Pop back up. And so my wife just flipped out when I pulled the plane back up. After what we'd just been through. And then I came down and I landed. And it was really weird.
Touch and go, baby.
touch and goes. The week before this happened, I was up at the airport practicing touch and goes, and the runway lights went out. They were out, and
what luck!
Touch and goes in the dark, So that helped. Okay. So the next one is that was the Temptations and Jim Croce. The next one I had was, of course, Cass Elliot, the Mamas and the Papas, which somebody in the chat
talked about that.
And she
I gotta look back at the chat. We got all kinds of comments in there.
She died on
Shannon.
I know the chat's really lively tonight.
We forgot Del Shannon. I'm looking. I've learned to be able to look up. Yeah, that was a good one.
Ringo Starr was Maurice Gibbs' best friend during that time.
What?
Yes. Okay.
Look at these comments. I finally see these. These are great.
A comment we missed too. Man, the comments are really flying by.
You guys are on fire, man. Look at this stuff. I love it.
Motorcycles and trees. Yep. Sad.
Hey, people out there, I want to know who passed away that affected you the most. Put it in the chat. Who affected you the most? I mean, when they passed away, you were just like, "Whoa, I can't believe this." What was yours? What was yours, Royce? Which one? You kind of said earlier.
It would have to be Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix really got you. You couldn't believe.
God.
Did you mourn? Did you mourn like it was a family member? I'm not being facetious.
Well, I just felt kind of lost for a while, so to speak.
Yeah.
No, I didn't mourn. No, I don't remember mourning like a family member, but it was a long time ago too. But there was nobody I liked better than Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, I can see why. I mean, that's huge.
When I got to be like a sophomore, junior in high school, there was nobody I liked better than Led Zeppelin.
Same.
But yeah,
mine was, although Bonham affected me, I have to say John Lennon blew me away. And the reason was even worse was I was on a hike in the Chiricahua Mountains when it happened. So I didn't find out till we were hiking on our way down. We didn't have internet back then or anything, right?
Right.
So we're hiking on our way. There's that Texas flies, man. Texas flies suck. Anyways, they're hardcore.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Yeah, but I'm faster. Give me a sec, Tex.
Well, just don't shoot it out of the air, okay?
Got it.
I don't want to hear bullets ricochet.
Testing for an astronaut. So anyway, John Lennon, though, we hear the news from hikers coming up. Did you know they even go out of their way to tell us John Lennon passed away? And we're like, what? Yeah, that one and Bowie. Those two got me. Bowie, I was a huge Bowie fan.
I'm really glad you brought up John Lennon because there's a little story that goes with that. My wife was sleeping. She fell asleep with the TV on, and she came to my room. She came to our room and said, I just had the weirdest dream. I thought I was hearing on the news that John Lennon died. And then we turned the news on, and yes, John Lennon had died. And that was just
the
that was a pretty heavy impact too. And what's really interesting here is Gloria in the chat said Kobe Bryant. And I'll tell you what, I'm a Lakers fan. And I saw the very first game that Kobe Bryant ever played for the Lakers. And he was fresh out of high school. They only put him in for a couple of minutes just to give him some, big league experience. Faster than grease lightning, And I went to several Lakers games during that period, and I haven't been to any in a while, but I went to 4 or 5 games there for a couple of years. And Kobe Bryant affected me, about as much as anybody. I was brokenhearted over, Muhammad Ali's Parkinson's syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
But when it comes to sports, 1 and 2 for affected me would have been Muhammad Ali and then Kobe Bryant. I was really Kobe Bryant really messed my head up for some reason for a couple of days. Really? I couldn't stop talking about it.
A lot of people were affected by Kobe.
Oh,
you
yeah.
weren't the only one. Yeah, I was not. That one didn't get me, but I
love the competition between Kobe and Shaq for whoever the team leader was.
Yeah.
I've got some Shaq gym shorts that have Shaq written down the side.
Those are good basketball days.
Jersey with Shaq, and I've got Kobe's number 24 or 27. I have a jersey for Kobe Bryant. But
you don't have the, that's interesting. We brought up athletes comparison sometimes in competition with the drummer show that we did.
Right.
We don't have a lot of these athletes passing away like these musicians. So the musicians are not taking care of themselves. The athletes, they're drugging out there too.
They got to be on the top of their game, you know.
Yeah.
They've got to be healthy, rested, or they're going to sit the bench until they toss them off the team, you know.
And the musicians need to pick up on that.
That's a whole other world right there, you know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, you have to be in shape. I mean, they've actually compared drummers to professional NFL football players because of what a drummer goes through in a night.
How physical that is. Absolutely.
Yeah. But obviously the difference is, though, there are ways to get around that. and that's the problem, you know.
Well, this next one I'm going to bring up, and this was one of my favorite bands, and I still love this band and have 3 of their albums. And oh my God, I mean, Eric Clapton played there, Jimmy Page played there, Jeff Beck played there. You know how I'm going to say it's the Yardbirds. And his singer, Keith Relf of the Yardbirds, died at 33. Now, maybe somebody knows more about this than I do. Electrocuted by his guitar.
What? Whoa.
So
maybe that's why they came up with those grounds.
Electrocuted by a guitar, maybe not his guitar, because I don't remember seeing him play guitar. He stood up there with dark glasses and a suit and he sang. So he picked up somebody's guitar and electrocuted him.
That's wild. You know, they do have a ground on the back of the amps, you know.
Yeah.
That must be why. I remember I've been shocked by mics and, you know, you get these old venues, you know,
oh, shit.
They touch on that in that movie. Got that great movie, the one about Almost Famous.
Almost Famous.
One of the closest to really how it is out there.
That is a great movie, yeah.
Yeah, they touch on that in that one. And the guy remember shocks and he falls.
I've watched that a couple of times.
Great flick. Gosh, yeah.
They all sing. Anyway, the Yardbirds, what a great band, right? I mean, oh my God. I mean, so much talent in that band. And I remember this was like, they came out during the British invasion, you know, 64, 65, 6. And to me, they were like the heaviest band of the British invasion.
Oh, at that time, they were very heavy. Let me get my fan on.
Yeah.
There we go. It's a little warm in Texas, folks.
The next one I had on my list was Freddy King, a famous bluesman. He died in 76 of a stomach ulcer and pancreatitis, you know. And then I've got the King, Elvis Presley.
Oh, yeah. That was big.
Elvis Presley, 42 years old, died in August 1977 of a cardiac arrhythmia.
I remember that. That was kind of like the male Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, right? For sure.
It was kind of like the male Marilyn Monroe guy.
I would definitely say that. Absolutely. And then we've got
the women were crushed. My mother was crushed. How many remember that?
Well, you know, I grew up in the Vegas area, and Elvis was always out there, you know, playing. And even my father, you know, had Elvis albums, and we went to see all his movies, you know, at the drive-in.
They were hilarious.
Yeah.
Him and Anne Margaret.
So Elvis was just kind of like a constant in your life living back there. You know what I'm saying?
He kind of became a caricature of himself. It was almost like he was playing himself at the end. You know, it was kind of weird. I think he might have even said that at some point. I might have got that.
The Beatles and so many bands that were super popular at one time, there was an ebb and flow to the popularity, you know. I mean, all the heavy bands started coming out.
You get so high that,
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so I'm going to go on now to the plane crash that Leonard Skinner was in. And that killed Ronnie Van Zant, the lead singer.
It's huge.
All those great songs, Give Me 3 Steps, you know. And it also killed Cassie Gaines from Leonard Skinner. Yeah, that was
the epitome of Southern rock. I mean, that was Southern rock.
Yeah.
You didn't get any more Southern rock than Leonard Skinner.
No, you didn't. No, they were fantastic.
Nobody can argue that. Come on.
I always kind of compared Leonard Skinner's Freebird with Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. Both kind of
absolutely, without a doubt.
Both rock anthems, you know.
Yeah. There are so many bands that would not have existed after, you know, look at the bands that, you know, begat after Leonard Skinner from that. Alabama. I mean, God, you can go on and on. Even ZZ Top might be able to give credit, even though they were around. I think maybe a little before or after. I was close.
Yeah.
But that album, Tush, that launched them, ironically out of Texas, where I'm at right now, wouldn't have been as big without Leonard Skinner, I don't think.
Okay, then I'm going to go on to somebody that I can't say I was a big fan of this genre, but I did warm up to it, and I did know who Sid Vicious was, the Sex Pistols.
Oh, yes. Oh, gosh.
You know, and they were
yeah.
music played all the time on the radio.
You were in San Francisco with Winterland, right?
No, I wasn't. No,
I thought you were.
no, I wasn't.
I thought you were there. Well, that was one of the last. I think the last place they played was Winterland in San Francisco.
Okay.
76. Yeah. I'm thinking 76.
Well, he died. Yeah, probably. He died in 79. And again, this is another one. There's so many of these: suicide or drug overdose. Which one was it?
That was. And folks out there, if you want to see a really interesting movie, there's a very interesting movie about his death, and they cover that. And gosh, what's her name? Plays the singer from Hole, who was
Kurt Cobain's wife.
Kurt Cobain's wife plays his girlfriend in the movie really well. Gosh, I forget the name. It's like a love story, a bizarre love story.
She actually is a good actress.
She did a great job in the movie.
I like some of those songs and the videos that they made. You know,
her album wasn't bad. That album was pretty cool.
No. I don't know why I can't think of her name, but if anybody in the chat,
I know it'll come. Get the files again.
Cobain's wife, who has also had a band.
Come on, people, help us out there. Let me go to the chat. Go to the chat.
She was also
help us.
A singer and
an
actress. She played in some pretty good movies. You know, pretty big movies, I should say. Daddy Boggs brought up Dennis Wilson.
Yeah, I went to the chat to see if we're getting any help. We're not getting any help.
Not yet.
Julia's gonna have to contact me later. She's got all these questions. Where are you, Lou? Julia. Okay, lunch in Arizona coming up. Okay, you and me.
Ricky Nelson died. Okay, we're in the 80s. We're in the 80s now.
Woo!
Man, we're in the 80s.
That was my lost decade. I was on tour a lot during the 80s.
Were you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to start this out with AC/DC's Bon Scott.
Oh, yeah.
AC/DC's Bon Scott.
Was that on the cusp?
33 of alcohol poisoning.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Well, Bonham as well.
Yeah, right.
Didn't they count the shots for Bonham? Wasn't it like some ridiculous?
He had the equivalent of 40 or 50 vodka shots in him. You know,
within 24 hours.
Within 24 hours.
Yeah. So basically, so he took. Yeah. In other words, they had a liter of vodka, because I've done that. A liter of vodka in one hand, and you're just chugging while you're doing something else.
Yeah.
And that's how you get in that predicament.
I always hated that when I was at a party and they started passing the bottle around. And you had to chug it and then pass it on. It was usually
stuff
tequila.
We did.
It was usually tequila.
Yeah, I've had problems with tequila as well. Arizona. Arizona memories. Waking up in the desert with my motorcycle laying on me and these giant ants trying to pull me into a hole. It's like Gulliver. They all had ropes over me.
Well, this is really a sad one here because it broke Led Zeppelin up, you know.
Yes.
And John Bonham, age of 32, and asphyxiation on vomit.
That was to roll the guy over. Somebody. Where are their friends?
Oh man, I don't know. That's really
passed out as well.
That was the end of Led Zeppelin. You know, I mean, I know they really toured again later with Jason Bonham, John Bonham's son.
Yeah.
And I don't know what is your opinion of the. You know, how
you're gonna make me do that. You're gonna make me do that. You're gonna make me do that.
I won't make you do it. I won't make you do it. You don't have to.
I will repeat what I said during our drum thing about Jason Bonham. Okay. I'm gonna say what I like about him instead of that where I would have gone with that statement, because I'm a huge Bonham fan. Right. He did a great job on that Heart, Stairway to Heaven, you know, where they did the tribute.
Oh yeah, no, that was a great tribute. Love that.
Was amazing. That
was amazing.
Jason Bonham, if you're out there listening for some reason of this, you were amazing in that. You did your father proud. That was amazing.
I love that. I've seen that probably 4 or 5 times now.
It's a tearjerker.
Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones are kind of beaming and very happy, and Robert
feels it.
Yeah,
I was like Robert. I was Robert. Oh, just the power. I can't imagine. They were in the room. They were in the room. It was powerful coming through a little screen when I watched it.
It was heavy. Yeah.
Oh, I finished it. I went.
I think I watched it again.
Watched it. I did. Oh, I did. It's amazing. People out there, if you haven't seen that, go to YouTube. What is it? What concert is that for? It's overseas. English for the. Gosh, it's a tribute. It's Heart singing the front end of it. The whole orchestra with Jason Bonham, Stairway to Heaven. If you can find it, listen to it. You'll see what we're talking about. It's awesome.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
I think it's like 2 years old, 3 years. Something.
Yeah. It reminds me of something I watched on video the other day, and it was Ozzy Osbourne and his wife Sharon. And Slash was up on stage playing Crazy Train. And just watching their faces as they looked at each other while Slash was playing Crazy Train was worth the watch, you know.
Slash. I'm glad Slash is still around.
No, I am too. Yeah.
A lot of his guys are gone too. You got a whole group. We haven't got to the 90s. I'm not gonna it's gonna be midnight. Remember, I'm 2 hours ahead.
Right. Okay, the next one's huge. John Lennon. 40 years old, murdered.
Right after his comeback album.
Yeah.
After you removed every other song from Yoko, you had this John Lennon album that was amazing. Right? Remember that's what the people were joking about. Sorry, Yoko. Sorry.
Well, you know, okay. I think we just got some help here. Frank James says that Heart with Jason was at the Kennedy Center.
Was it the Kennedy Center? Why did I think it was like?
I think Frank's probably got that. And JB.
Well, he's got the help there. I believe him.
JB Tharp also said Kennedy Center honors. So there's 2 of them.
Oh, there it is. Well, I'll be darned. Why? Some reason I thought it was like Earl's Court. I'm thinking of their old '70s show. You know, when they played in England.
And Michael Nolan says Jason Bonham and Jimmy don't marry up as well as Jimmy did with Bonzo. However, Jason is still a fine drummer.
Yes.
Just not dad. Yeah. Okay.
That's like royalty. You know, it's like Julian Lennon having to measure up to John Lennon. I will say this, and I said this before. Check out Zach Starsky. The Ringo Starr's son is badass.
Really?
He plays for the Who.
I never heard that before.
Go back and check out the Super Bowl show of the Who. Watch the drummer who looks all like Keith Moon. That's rocking it. That's Ringo's son. He's badass.
Wow.
There you go. Ringo, you do owe me a bouquet of flowers right now. You know, peace and love. I'm gonna get bombed.
I mean, we could do a whole show just on John Lennon, but I mean,
heck
just crazy. The next one on the list is Mike Bloomfield, the Butterfield Blues Band.
Don't know that one.
Accidental drug overdose. That was a good blues band.
I hope that's what they put if I ever do that. Accidental.
Yeah.
Accidental. I accidentally. I hope.
Well, then the next one is a favorite of mine, and I've got a picture of him on my wall right here, and that is done by George Kalkoff, an artist that we're all friends with, you know, on the shows. And,
right on.
He's on Instagram. You've had to have seen George Kalkoff's art.
I bet
he's been showing a lot of Bowie stuff lately and stuff.
Really?
I've got
You can't turn the camera? Can you turn it? Look, can you spin the camera?
Well, okay.
Go ahead. Come.
Okay.
Oh, right on. I see it.
Bob Marley, George Kalkoff.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a very unique style.
I had to do it justice with the matting and the framing.
What's the one on the left? You got another one on the left. Is that him too?
No, Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, I thought that, but it's not the same artist?
Yes, it is. I'm sorry.
Oh,
yes,
I was going to say, that's what I was. It looks like the same style. That Hendrix one is awesome. That purple matting, beautiful.
Over here, I've got another Hendrix. As you can tell, I'm a Hendrix fan.
Yeah, a little bit.
I have
is that the Sticky Fingers Stones album up there? Sticky Fingers?
Yeah, yeah. And I've
I love your
got
taste,
I've
man.
got the original with the moving zipper in my shelves over here.
Oh, yeah, and these rubber
That's the
soles.
new remastered one. And then
Royce,
down here on the left is a parlophone pressing a revolver.
wow, nice. When I get back in the Central Coast, there, you and I are going for a cocktail.
Okay, sounds
We're
good.
gonna go have a cocktail together. And we'll invite everybody. We'll bring the cameras.
You know,
They're gonna have a drink with us.
That wasn't so bad pulling this camera off the top of my monitor.
No, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone could see it. Everyone else, let's see if they can see it. We'll go look at the chat. What'd you guys think of his artwork? I thought it was awesome.
No, it is awesome. He's really good. Yeah.
Oh, yep. Zach Starr. I said Starsky. Thank you, Gloria. Gloria, you are on fire.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Zach Starr.
JB's in there. Yeah, look at these guys.
Yeah, you were saying, yeah, I was wondering how we got the name Starsky, but
Zach took, I didn't know that. Frank says Zach took lessons from Moon. That's new information to me. That's killer information.
Okay.
I did not know that. You know what? If that's true, which I believe, why wouldn't it be? That makes sense because he plays just like him. I mean, it's uncanny how much he played like him. I'm going backward. I'm looking at
Michael Nolan from The Bottom Line says Zach is fab. So you guys are both, you know.
Yeah. I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to say, of the siblings of famous drummers, I feel Zach is one of the better.
You know, I'm sure he must be. Yeah.
He's good. I was watching. I didn't know who he was when I was watching The Who, and I was commenting, going, "Who is that?" And that's what you want. That's what you want somebody to say is, "Who is that?" And that's the biggest compliment you could ever get.
Oh, yeah. That's right, huh?
When you come off stage and people say, "Who are you?" That's a good night.
We were talking Bob Marley of Bob Marley and the Wailers. It's 36 years old.
What was his death cause? I don't recall.
Well, it's, if I could pronounce it, acral lentiginous melanoma. So like a skin cancer of some sort.
Wow, it makes sense with his location. A lot of sunshine there.
Well, I never got to see him in concert, but I did get to see Ziggy Marley. And you're gonna know this. You're gonna know this venue. It actually became a pretty big music venue. That's just Pozo Saloon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah, well,
I know it. I was supposed to play there years ago, but we got rained out. We were booked to Pozo.
Willie Nelson and friends used to come in there like about every other year for several years in a row. And you never seen so many beautiful motorhomes lining the street out there, you know. And so
I'm bummed I didn't get to play Pozo. I heard about it. No, I heard about Pozo. The other big one I didn't get to play was Red Rocks. I was booked to play Red Rocks as a warm-up for Devin Allman. And he 24 hours before gets sick.
Oh, no.
I'm like, oh, yeah, that was like a Boston Garden dream place I've always wanted to play. And I got canceled out 24 hours before because Devin was sick.
Well, you've been around this area for a long time. Did you know Johnny Bankston? Johnny Bankston. He went by the name John. Some people call him Johnny Pozo because he played Pozo all the time. And
I don't know a lot of the names. I know a lot of the faces.
Okay,
I wouldn't be surprised.
He's very talented. Yeah. Then I had to throw this in. Okay. John Belushi, the Blues Brothers.
I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were going to throw him in there. He did perform. You get away with that.
He did perform. He was 33 years old. Speedball overdose.
He wanted to be a rock star so bad. He even went out like one. He just wanted to be that so bad.
He even went out like one. Yeah.
He did, unfortunately.
Sad
like a rock star. Yeah.
Right.
We need to change that.
Okay. Razzle from Hanoi Rock.
I knocked down. I went after that Texas Fly. Texas Fly 5, lose 0 right now.
Yeah. No, but what I was saying is I did get to see Ziggy Marley, one of his sons, and he was doing all Bob Marley songs. And that was a great concert. It was at the Pozo Saloon. We got sidetracked talking about other things out there. And it was a really fun concert. And somebody walked up to us and said, "Hi, we want you guys to come to the after party with me and my friend." We're like, we're going to Ziggy Marley's after party. This is really going to be cool. And then And at the end of the show, it just didn't happen. I don't know what happened. We never got re-invited. Let's see. Michael Nolan says Red Rock, the greatest amphitheater in the world.
Yes, thank you, Michael, for reminding me, rubbing that in. Yeah, cool. I got to stand on the stage and watch it come up. Never got to play it.
So okay, cool.
That's one of those. The one that got away. The fish was this big.
You know what Frank James is saying? Marley's cancer on his toe. He did have it removed because Bob Marley was a Jehovah's Witness. He had it. Okay, wait a minute. He did have it removed. He was a Jehovah's Witness, and they don't believe in medical procedures. Maybe Frank, did you mean he didn't have it removed? That cancer on his toe? Okay. Good night, Daddy Bog. Thanks for dropping it.
Oh, we're losing Julia. Julia, coffee tomorrow.
No. She's saying good night to Daddy Boggs, who's leaving.
So she's staying around. He's back.
I'm back.
Slim Shady.
Good. I'm going to need him for tag teaming here soon because I'm going to have to go soon. It's like WWE Wrestling.
You're a fan of Hanoi Rocks, right, Dan?
Hanoi Rocks?
Yeah,
we mentioned Hanoi before.
Oh, okay. All right. That was
like, I like your delivery. Hanoi. No. That was awesome.
Okay, Andy Chafin, the Association, and Ricky Nelson, plane accident.
Little Ricky.
You know, Rick Nelson's airplane was leased from an airport about 5 miles from here.
Oh, no way.
Addison, Texas.
Are you in Texas too?
Yeah, I'm just north of Dallas.
Shoot, I'm not that far from you right now. I think I'm a little bit this way. I'm west of Dallas at the moment.
Okay, well,
watch out, I might stop by.
Oh, you're in fire danger country right now.
Oh, great.
And I'm sure we probably all
tornadoes.
This is Dino Martin of Dino, Desi, and Billy. And Billy Hinsche died recently. Mm-hmm. He had a show. I used to go to it once in a while. And he'd played with the Beach Boys and stuff. And Daddy Boggs went to his show a lot, and he kind of turned me on to it. And I went a few times, and it was fun. And he recently died, but he's the Billy in Dino, Desi, and Billy Hinsche, you know. But this was a long time ago. And Dino, well, I guess, was Dean Martin's son. And Desi was Desi Arnaz's son.
Wow.
And then, and so they had a band. And I have an album of theirs, believe it or not. Because I knew this story, I saw it and I bought it, you know, at an antique store.
So Billy didn't have a famous father like the other two?
I think he wound up being the famous one later on because he did a lot of playing with the Beach Boys and stuff. But I could be wrong. Like if Daddy Boggs, if you haven't left yet, you know this stuff like the back of your hand. Daddy Boggs knows more about the Beach Boys than anybody I know.
Ask him if he knows about what happened to the singer of Three Dog Night. Did he just get in an auto accident and die, or because they were like on top of their game and then poof, they were gone?
Excuse me for a second. Hey, Adam, Adam NC. I got to figure out why my comments aren't being seen. I'm out. Later, everyone.
Oh, there he is.
I want to apologize because I do see your comment here, and I have seen a couple of others.
Adam.
And, you know, we really, really appreciate you being here.
He mentions Richard Manuel.
Richard Manuel from the band killed himself in the 80s.
Where's his other one? Oh, he brings up. We did miss you, dude. We do owe you an apology. He mentions Randy Rhoads too. Yeah, Randy Rhoads, the airplane into the bus, wasn't that?
Yep.
Airplane goes into the bus, so kills whoever's on the airplane. People in the bus. That was a bizarre one. And weren't they goofing around?
Yeah, they were having a break or whatever. And Ozzy, I think, had flown in earlier.
There was something. Yeah, Ozzy was in the bus or something like that at one point, but not when it hit.
No.
Right? And then he loses Randy Rhoads at the top of his game. What a way to go. You're just sitting there. God, some jerk. Let's buzz the bus, and it hits it.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Hey, guys, I'll be right back. I just bumped my computer and lost everybody.
Oh, no. Did we lose our chat?
No. Well,
they're still there on this end.
Okay. Oh, my God. Thank you.
They're still there.
Okay.
Adam, don't go yet. Don't go yet, Adam. We owe you one. Give us another piece of info we can talk about. We'll highlight it right now.
Right
Throw
now.
something at us, Adam.
Yeah,
Throw something at us.
I feel really bad about this. You know, we've got to be.
We're making it up right now.
You know, huh?
You know, the stuff comes in fast, and you know we don't. I have to switch my screen to see it, so that's why I don't see it. But once you brought it up, sure enough.
Right.
So I go back and I can only see like a thing or two at a time. If I stop and read every single thing. Julia's like, we're still here.
Oh, I know.
I like Julia.
Julia, totally.
Add yourself on my Facebook. I got to talk to you later. I like her.
Okay,
Can I keep her?
Now is when I'm going to really ask for more help from the chat.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're gonna get into the 90s now, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that aren't on my list. So I would appreciate any input.
I'd like to start with one.
Okay, go ahead.
Do it.
One of the best guitar players ever here from Dallas, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh yeah.
He killed in a helicopter crash. I think it was in West Troy, Wisconsin.
Oh my God.
You know, and that's one of those situations like, with the big Bopper and all them where they were swapping seats and everything. Eric Clapton was supposed to have been on a helicopter. Stevie Ray Vaughan took his spot.
I did not know
something about that. I'd heard about that, but I didn't know the details. That's awesome.
Wow.
That's what's cool about shows like this. You're getting all kinds of information from three guys that know three areas of information that are, in the biz. And then people in the crowd there. Cool.
I really got into Stevie Ray Vaughan. I mean,
wow, amazing.
What a powerful, he used I think his smallest string on the guitar was like a 13 or something like that, And
the way he wrapped his thumb around, geez.
Yeah, no, he was amazing. Stevie Ray Vaughan, boy, what a talent.
A friend of mine was the organizer for the Stevie Ray Vaughan Remembrance Ride here in Dallas, who actually helped me out when I started doing the Ride for Dime. He showed me kind of the blueprint how to put a festival on like that. And so I'd go to his festival every year, and I got to get to know his Stevie Ray Vaughan's mother, Martha.
Oh, cool.
And she was there. She was there every year, and she'd always donate money to the cause. And until she passed away a few years back, Jimmy steps in and shut everything down. Jimmy was kind of he was kind of a pain during the entire 14, 15 years that was going on. And, once she passed away, he shut it down. That was into that.
What a bummer.
Yeah. And I kind of experienced the same thing when I did Ride for Dime. I put it all together. And I never asked for Vinny, even though I knew Vinny, I never really asked his permission to do it. And so I was waiting, for something to come down, Vinny to come down and shut me down. But Vinny never did. In fact, Vinny actually performed several times at my event. So, but it's sad when a family member comes in. The Stevie Ray Vaughan Remembrance Ride brought in thousands of dollars, and they, and it got recognition. And every year we'd have people like Johnny Winter, huge names, that would come and perform at this thing. And then Jimmy just shut it all down, And now they're all buried at Laurelland, just south part of Dallas. In fact, I was there just a few months ago, and his mom, dad, him, and I think there's somebody else buried there. But it's kind of an odd spot because it looks like it's in a median. You drive to the cemetery, and you got to drive around their gravesite. It's like a circle median. They're right in the middle.
Well, Michael Nolan, the bottom line, just brought up that Stevie Ray also played great pop. He says, listen to Bowie's Let's Dance album. And I didn't know Stevie Ray Vaughan played on that.
Yes, I knew that. I saw a video of that. Yeah, I saw a video. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's one of the things I stole from Bowie as an idea is when I go out as a frontman, I change my backline every year when I do go out on the road. And that was something I got from Bowie. He had Frampton as a guitarist once. He had Stevie Ray. I mean, he's had several. Even I forget the guy's name from. What band was that? Oh, I think it was Michael Jackson's guitarist that went over at one point. Billy Idol's. I'm sorry, but anyways, back to the topic. But yeah, that's a great thing. You get those guys going along like that,
right? All over.
But now we're at what? What year was that? Was that early 90s?
91, I believe.
Right there, and didn't we also lose like the Chili Peppers lost a player because you had that all of a sudden you had part of Jane's Addiction sending over Navarro over to fill in, right?
Okay.
It was, and I think that might have been
about that, but not real clear.
Yeah, so they lost a major player right around Mother's Milk, I think. Someone out there help us on that in the chat.
Someone saying Mick Ronson. Who is that?
That might be him. It was an M. And then Navarro took his place, jumps from Jane's Addiction over into the Chili's because of that. That's how that happened, which really changed the sound of
I remember I got Jane's Addiction first album, Ritual Habitual, I think it was called. Ritual de la Habitual or something like that. And,
well, there's that. Was that the one was half live, half not?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think it was.
Pretty cool. There was one that was.
It took some warming up to, at first, but I did like it.
Coming down the mountain. That was a great song. He had that really major reverb on his voice. I just saw Perry Farrell do a song with, because of all this stuff resurfacing of the recent death, with the Foo Fighters. He comes out at the end of the show and does Been Caught Stealing. Does a great job. Yeah, he's got a glass on. Hello, Argentina. That's good stuff.
Well, Frank James just brought up Steve Stevens, Billy Idol's guitarist.
That's Steve Stevens was what did Bowie as well. Yes, and did Michael Jackson.
Okay.
I think he got kicked off of Michael Jackson.
Yeah. A lot of these people get tapped to do all kinds of stuff. Yeah. I know. It caused a strain between. It might have been the straw that broke the camel's back between Axl Rose and Slash, because apparently Axl claimed that Slash knew that his father had kind of abused him, and sexually, and Slash played on Michael Jackson's album when he was being, through a period of time being accused of being a pedophile, and that I read a story about that. I don't know. Apparently, nobody else saw it, but. It caused a lot of strain between them. It was already very strained,
Well, didn't we? Well, speaking of the time period of those musicians, didn't we lose the guitarist from Poison? Wasn't he found like on a beach or something? There was
C.C. DeVille.
Yeah.
C.C. Yeah, he was a great guitarist.
He passed away young.
When he wasn't drunk. He was at an awards show when he was drunk, and that was.
So did Courtney Cox. That was her name. Courtney Cox was drunk as hell on the award show once. Oh, yeah, terrible. She runs into Maryland. She runs into Madonna and is like throwing her shoe to get her attention. It's a train wreck. God. Is Courtney Cox still with us? Did she survive?
I think she is. Yeah. That was supposed to be a double suicide, wasn't it? Kurt Cobain and his wife Courtney Cox. Well, that's kind of.
Was it supposed to be? Is that what you're saying?
It was supposed to be.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it's Courtney Love, not Cox.
Okay. Courtney Cox is Friends. That's Friends. She's in. So her famous music scene is getting up dancing with Bruce Springsteen when she was young. Remember that?
Yeah. Okay. So actually, next on my list was Kurt Cobain.
Yeah. Wow.
And, that was a heartbreaking one right there, because I really got into grunge. I liked all of those bands from. Kurt, Alice in Chains and Soundgarden. I mean, I liked all of them. I did.
Alice in Chains. Well, yeah, we lost. There's another one. We lost him.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, and we lost. And Kurt Cobain was 27. He's in the 27 club. We lost. The guitar. Not a guitar. Well, he was from Smashing Pumpkins, and that was a pretty good band. I remember liking Smashing Pumpkins. And that was
I almost ended up in that band.
Jonathan Melvoin. Really?
I almost ended up in the Smashing Pumpkins. Yeah, really? Billy. Yeah, after winning the contest, I was in the final 5 to replace the drummer at the time who had left.
Wow.
And so I won't even get into how that finished out, because the young Canadian 17-year-old picking it up. And I'm like, I was in the second position. I kept working up in the second position. All of a sudden, boom. The fish was this big.
J.B. Tharp, who's also a musician and a friend, he tours around playing, acoustic guitar and singing. He's trying to hit all 50 states.
Right on.
He probably should have jumped in the van with you.
Come on, man. We'll go play some gigs.
He just reminded us that Eddie Van Halen performed on Beat It with Michael Jackson.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You know, the big thing about Kurt Cobain that was interesting about that one was Neil Young's response. Speaking of Neil Young that we were talking about earlier, because apparently they were very close, and Kurt Cobain supposedly had come to Neil Young's aid when Neil Young was contemplating suicide. And so Neil Young was incredibly distraught that he was not able to do the same thing in return.
Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a story on that. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, no, that is very interesting. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Gino Powell says Three Dog Night.
Yo, yes. What happened?
Three lead singers, Chuck Nurgan, Danny Hutton, and still alive Gary Wells died in 2015.
Who's the big one, though, who sang all those hits off like Joy to the World?
I think that was Chuck Negron.
Yeah. I thought he passed.
No, Chuck Negron's still alive. I actually seen Chuck Negron once.
Oh. So where am I getting that one?
Well, he said Corey Wells died in 2015. That was one of the three singers.
Okay,
yeah, but it seemed like they were at the top of their game, and then all of a sudden, poof. So I was told it was a death that caused that. It wasn't. Did they just break up?
Yeah, the Chuck Negron thing, he left the band because there was a dispute within the band. And so he went out his own as Chuck Negron, but he did nothing but Three Dog Night songs when I saw him.
So it was just a bad breakup.
Yeah.
It wasn't a death that caused their stop. Okay.
Well, there was Mike Starr, 44, another former member of Alice in Chains. And he died at 44. Result of mixing Xanax and alcohol at a home in Salt Lake City in March 2012. The musician's career was another who had faced drug abuse for years, even appearing on Celebrity Rehab in 2010. Yeah. So we're off into the 2000s here as well, guys. So anybody
might as well bounce around.
Yeah. I know a lot in the 2000s. I know at least three.
Yeah, throw them out there.
Throw them out there, yeah.
Okay. Obviously, Dimebag Darrell from Pantera.
Yeah, of course.
Murdered on stage.
That was bizarre.
That just blows my mind. I don't think I really even heard that until I knew you, you know?
Yeah.
I remember when it happened. Yeah, it was
weird.
Weird.
But the last 3 years of Darrell's life, you know, I was around him quite a bit the last 3 years. And especially right when Pantera ended. And they're having a conflict with Phil trying to get him to, you know, they stopped touring because the 9/11 happened. And they said, we'll get back together in about 1 year and we'll put another album together and start the tour again. Yeah. Well, during that year, Phil, the singer, went ahead and formed two other bands and was touring with these two other bands that he formed.
Wow.
And it's pissing Darrell and Vinny off because they're on hold. Phil won't answer their phone calls. You know, when do we get back together? You said you wouldn't do this, and Phil's doing his own thing. And they said, "Look, we got to do something." So they went ahead and ended Pantera. They actually had to sign a contract with the record label that Pantera. They wouldn't sign both Pantera and Damage Plan, so they literally had to put Pantera to death. You know, and then they signed Damage Plan. And but during that 3 year period there, you know, I would, every time I saw Darrell, he would give me updates what was going on with the new band. And, you know, how things were coming along. You know, one thing that most people don't realize when you listen to that Damage Plan album, it's only, well, of course you got the singer, but all the musical part, it's just Diamond Vinny. Bob Zilla toured with him, but he's not on the album.
Gotcha.
Dimebag played the bass as well, so it's basically the Abbott brothers. And you know, so we followed. I went out to Vegas with them once, Oklahoma City once. Things were going great. You know, they were on the MTV2 tour with, I forgot what the other band's name. Hatebreed. They were on tour with Hatebreed. And then they had a couple of breaks in 2004, but the last part of 2004, they went on tour again. And I was told, well, before they left, we saw Darrell, and he was saying, you know, hey, once we get back from this tour, we're all going to get together and go to Six Flags as a group. You know, Christmas at Six Flags.
What a good leader!
You know,
I never had a band leader like I should be that guy.
Dimebag was a party all the time.
Inspired me. And, took them all out to have fun. I never thought of that.
So we get a phone call that they had extended the tour one more show in Columbus, Ohio, and that's when it all happened. And unfortunately, you know, everybody in the band that got shot. So you got Darrell was shot, the bodyguard was shot, the manager was shot. Drum tech was shot.
God.
an employee.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
The guy just was opening fire
from the stage. Yeah. He actually reloaded a couple times.
God.
And he had a buddy of mine. He had a buddy of mine who was the drum tech in a headlock and shot him 3 times, and he was still alive.
Oh, no.
And he survived.
I didn't realize how horrific that was.
Killed an employee of the club and killed an audience member. And the audience member that was killed, his mother reached out to me when I put on Ride for Dime, and me and Susan have been good friends, past 17 years now. All the time. She's always coming to Texas. And who else? Of course, I knew Mayhem, the bodyguard. And, it was just such a shock. I get that phone call that night, probably about a half hour after the shooting happened, said, there was a shooting and Dimebag is dead. So I thought, what? I said, somebody's just yanking your chain. I said, I haven't heard anything on the radio. And I said, I can't believe it until I hear it on the radio. So about midnight that night, I heard it on the radio.
Wow.
And I went, oh my God.
Bet you were devastated.
I couldn't believe it. And we couldn't get any more details from the scene, what was going on. We didn't know if Vinny had been shot, or for that fact, if anybody's been shot, we didn't know. Not until the next morning, we found out that Vinny was safe, and Dime was gone, and then we saw the list.
Wow.
And even the police officer that came in and killed the shooter, I became friends with him. He's come down here to my event, and I've got drunk with him. So almost everybody was involved in that shooting I've got to meet or hang out with for a while. So, it was an experience I never expected to go through.
What a ugly night.
I have to ask you, did this guy got caught, didn't he? Right? I mean, he was in there for a long time.
Killed him.
He got his head blown off. Literally blew his head off with a shotgun. Cop was he was almost pointing. He had my buddy in a chokehold from behind, and the officer came in and sees him, and I guess his back is to him. So I don't think the shooter even saw the cop coming up behind him. He got to the point, and he said he was just about to shoot Cat, the hostage, and boom, he just let it loose. Literally blew the guy's head off.
Wow.
What was the motive?
The guy he was just a psychopath. He was discharged in the middle from the Marines with a dishonorable discharge for psycho. And when he gets home, his mother gives him a welcome home gift of a 9mm handgun.
Just what you need.
So he goes to the club and it decides to harm this band and these innocent people.
Because he says Dime and Vinny were coming to him in his mind and stealing all the band
Another one of those.
Yeah.
Oh,
God.
I'm so sick of that shit. I'm sorry,
exactly.
And weird enough, he was shot and killed the same night. Well, December 8th, which is the same date John Lennon was killed on, 27 years before.
It's the super fan, sick too far super fan. The same thing that happened to Lennon.
Yeah.
All right, there can't be 2 of us now. I have to kill John Lennon. Geez, people, just get help. Come on.
Get help. Please get help.
Get help. Yeah.
And someone else I knew here locally that made it kind of big that died was Dave Williams from Drowning Pool.
I've heard that name.
Yeah, let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I knew Dave for a couple of years, and then of course he died of a heart failure while on the Ozfest tour.
Wow.
They were going from one city to another city on the tour bus, and when they got to the city, they went to wake Dave up, and Dave was gone.
Wait a minute. What's Dave's last name?
Williams.
Do you know it? Okay,
Dave
no,
Williams.
not the Dave I was thinking of. I thought that was someone I knew for a second there.
Yeah, he was known as Dave the Stage Williams, and he and Dimebag were really good friends. They were very, very close. And of course, the third one would be there's another one I can add to the list. You got Vinnie Paul, who died of heart failure. Was it 3 years ago? Almost 4 years ago. And of course, then there was Nikki Sadler. She was on American Idol. She came in third place on American Idol in the very first season. She was the one with the red hair, and she was kind of the rock girl. She was here locally, and I got to know her, and she performed at my event several times, and hung out at the club where she worked, and then she died of an overdose. But she had a lot of personal issues, big time personal issues, and she's one of those you figure it's just a matter of time, and it happened.
Kind of like Scott Whelan. Scott, you're like, there's time bomb, man.
I knew Scott Weiland too.
Yeah, same thing.
Way back in the early 90s.
Interestingly enough, that was next on my list. 48 years old.
I met him as well. Yeah.
And
good guy.
I saw him perform at the Paso Robles Fairgrounds with Slash's Velvet Revolver.
Yeah.
Woo! He was doing. I thought he was
think-
doing well with those guys.
Yeah, and I think he sang every single song through a megaphone.
That's not good.
Not every song, but you know, the last show that Damage Plan did here in Dallas, well, major show, was with Velvet Revolver, which was ironic. You know?
Oh, okay.
It was just
That
so weird.
Slither video was badass, and he comes
Oh,
out,
yeah.
he's all
They're
silver.
They're saying the cause of death for Scott Weiland, and we all know he had problems. He was found to be a mix of cocaine, ethanol alcohol, and MDA, which is a kind of a relative of ecstasy.
That's very current. That's very current.
Yeah.
You know, when I met the guys from Stone Temple Pilots, this is back, they had just started making it big. This is 1992. And, you know, they played here in Dallas. And I had heard the album, well, one of the songs, Sex Type Thing, about a week before. They played it on the radio. And I thought, and as soon as I heard that song, I said, I love that song. So I went out that afternoon and bought the CD. Then I find out they're coming to concert next week. So I go to the show. And after the show, just a small club, I go knocking on their door. And I said, and during the show, they were tossing out CDs to the audience. And
really?
I remember those days.
So when I go to the back door,
I missed all those shows.
so when I went to the back door, you know, Eric Kretz, the drummer, opened the door, and I said, "Hey, can you guys sign my CD?" He goes, "Oh, you got one of the freebies?" I said, "No, I bought this sucker." He goes, "Really?" He was amazed that somebody. He goes, "Come on,
That's great.
So he invited me backstage, you know, and I'm sitting there just talking to all the guys.
So
at Stone Temple Pilots.
I can so relate.
That was the first time they ever performed outside of California. So they were just amazed that somebody in Dallas knew who they were, you know. And but
I totally get that.
I talked to Scott for a while, but I mainly hang out with one of the brothers. I forgot what his name is. There's Robert and Dean. I hung out with Dean most of the night. And it's funny because Dean and I became like pen pals for a while because before internet. And, you know, he'd send me a letter. He sent me a bunch of swag one time, you know. And by this time, they were real famous. They were over in Europe on tour.
Yeah.
And I wrote him a letter. It came
got
back
big, yeah.
Yeah, then it came back and said, "Sender unknown." I went, that wall came up, that famous wall. And I never heard from him after that.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah, that was a good show at the Paso Fairgrounds with him, you know, fronting
He's a good front man.
Yeah, no, he really is.
Yeah.
I watched one of those Axis shows just last week, you know, or maybe it was the week before last, and watching him do a whole concert, and he was a really good front man. Yeah.
I'm gonna say something very unpopular right now, but I feel it has to be said because it's true. At least in my opinion, I'm gonna put on there. As far as Scott's concerned, I saw him sober, and I saw him high as a kite. He was better high as a kite. I'm sorry. It's just the way I saw it on the show. He was loose. He was doing Bowie-like moves. I couldn't keep my eyes off of him.
I watched too then.
When he was clean, he was motionless. He had one leg up on the monitor, and he just kind of went through the routine. It just wasn't the same act. And so in his case, I kind of see why. I'm not saying it's right, but I see why he may have done it. Maybe even in his head, he thought that's what he needed to be that guy.
Yeah,
and
you know what? And you know what? Alcohol does that for a lot of people, actually. You know.
Well, Dimebag Darrell was one of them for sure.
Yeah.
You know, he could only, well, I'd not say he could only play when he was drunk, but he seemed to play better when he was drunk. You know.
Right.
And
I thought that too, though, and I look back at my old tapes, and I'm like, you know, I think I do. You know, there's a fine line. You got to be careful, but it does loosen you up. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Yeah,
no, well, there's an interesting side note here before we miss too much of the chat again.
Yeah, did Adam ever come back? Did we lost him?
Yeah, we did. I feel really.
Adam, I tried to give him a chance.
I feel really bad about that, Frank, because you know it may have been the first time he's ever showed up, and then we don't read any of his messages and stuff. But anyway, but Frank James is saying Kiss's drummer Eric Carr died the same day as Freddie Mercury. That's interesting.
I do remember something like that. There was a couple deaths that were like that. They were kind of a bummer because someone really big died, and then someone bigger died, so you didn't really get to hear about them.
Yeah,
it was kind of like, oh man.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, this kind of eclipsed completely. You know,
exactly. They die in the shadow of somebody else.
And you're like, oh, they didn't get they didn't get the week-long tributes of you get to hear their music or anything because so-and-so just
Right.
grandstanded on your death.
Yeah, come on, guys, get it together. You know,
That sucks.
Let's spread it. Let's spread it out a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it comes in threes. We got two coming.
Yep.
Hey, so I got one for you. So if they're the next two, God, if this is an evil thing to do, who do you call? You have the guts to call it? I'll call one.
Go ahead.
I think we're going to lose another Beatles soon. I think we're due. And we could lose another Stones soon on one of the big boys. One of the big boys is due. And you know the famous poster with Catcher in the Rye with John Lennon, everyone has said was like a curse famous. There's this poster photograph where they're dying in that order. If I recall, so it was John, George, I think Paul's next, which would be unusual because I think Ringo's the eldest.
Ringo's the oldest, yeah.
So
he
Paul
looks
would be next.
fantastic for his age too. Ringo.
Yeah.
He looks great. So it looks like that's not going to happen. If it does, maybe plane accident. Sorry, Paul. I'm not trying to curse you. Plane accident, natural heart attack, weird stuff. So I think we can lose one of those guys. Oh, we forgot Roy Orbison, by the way. I want to throw that in there. Just came into my head. Roy Orbison.
Yeah.
He had a disease of some sort, though, didn't he? Roy? Is that why partially he had the...
I must have skipped him, accidentally on my list because I
think he died of natural causes. I can't see Roy Orbison ODing. I just can't.
Yeah, right.
I hope not.
To me, the glasses are always a mysterious thing, but he just wore dark glasses.
I thought he had a problem with his eyes, and then there was something that he had related to that. No,
I'll have to check into that.
And I thought that's why he died. That was part of his reasoning. I don't know. This is the old conversation before internet, how we talked. I think the best thing we had back then is, remember, I'd always hear my parents go, well, let's go check the almanac. This magic almanac had answers. So-and-so, how old are they? Check the almanac. This thing sat by the TV. This magic almanac.
JB says, I better get McCartney tickets.
You know what? If something happens to him, I'm going to feel so freaking bad. Man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're going to say, but Lou predicted it. Come on.
Lou predicted it. Right.
Well,
I still have a little list here for the 2000s. Rapper Big Pun, 28 years old, heart attack. And,
the rappers aren't dying like the rockers, though. I don't think so.
No. Joey Ramone, 49 years old.
Joey.
From lymphoma.
Actually, all the Ramones.
Are there any left?
No. I think there's I don't think there are.
Johnny.
Dee Dee Ramone was an overdose or maybe.
Wow. God, there's a story. There should be a movie on that one.
See, and all their deaths weren't drug related either, I don't believe. They're all natural causes, so which kind of surprised me. You would think the Ramones.
Punk,
Well, then there's Aya, 22, died in a plane crash. George Harrison, 58, died 2001, cancer of the larynx.
He's lucky he didn't die from a stab wound during that break-in that somebody broke into his house and he was stabbed. Remember that?
That's right.
I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah. He was stabbed. There was a guy who broke into his house and he got out and, approached the guy and got stabbed. And then it wasn't too long after that I heard he had cancer, and then it wasn't long after that he was gone. A couple of years, I think.
What's the blues girl we lost not too long ago? Amy Winehouse.
Amy Winehouse.
Yes, Amy Winehouse.
That wasn't too long ago, was it? That seems like maybe within 10 years.
Yeah.
And that was that an overdose or a suicide? Or I even hate to say that word.
I think it was an overdose.
I think it was an overdose too.
Yeah.
Oh, Bob is saying Marky Ramone is still alive.
Oh, really? All right, on. We got one Ramone.
Dee OD'd, I believe.
Is Johnny Rotten still alive?
Johnny Rotten?
Yeah, is he still up?
Did he
pass? I haven't heard it. I don't remember hearing him pass.
He may be, yeah. What a character, right?
His big thing, every interview, I'm leaving. He'd walk out of the interview, make a big thing. It's like he went out of his way that I'm leaving the interview.
Come to think of Neil Young's song about him too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Johnny Rotten. He puts his name in there. Johnny Rotten Seed or something like that.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
So I think Neil Young is, in his mind, really into grunge or something, and because he really kind of liked those guys.
I think he did.
He did. He was friends with a lot of them. Michael Nolan, the bottom line, also says Paul McCartney is immortal, whether he is breathing or not.
Truth. Oh yeah.
Truth.
Yeah. All the Beatles. Truth. No doubt. Yeah, not going to argue that.
They live forever.
I saw Paul McCartney in concert twice with Wings.
Okay. Gloria's correcting me how to say that. Alea. That's what it is. I mispronounced it. I was writing really sloppy.
Tough crowd, I tell you. These guys are hardcore.
Gloria, thank you.
They've been hanging with us all the way.
There was also
Johnny Lydon, a.k.a. Rotten. Johnny Lydon, a.k.a. Rotten. Johnny Rotten. Okay. Also have, after George Harrison, I have Ran Carr from, what is it here? Social Distortion.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Ran Carr, 45, Social Distortion, died of Cushing syndrome, whatever that is. Right. Then, of course, it was mentioned earlier, it was also on my list, Lane Stanley, 34, of Alice in Chains. He died of a speedball. Crazy. I went back to Henderson, Nevada. Oh, man, it was probably 10 or 12 years ago. No, it wasn't even that long ago. And a friend of mine I grew up with that I hadn't seen in years, we sort of parted company in the early to mid 70s, he must have been 60 years old, and he died of a speedball overdose.
Oh, well, yeah, who wouldn't at 60? Who wouldn't at 60?
My sentiment.
Keith Richards.
I mean,
where's my prize?
What the hell are you doing at 60 years old doing stuff like that?
You stopped at about 45.
I felt really bad because the guy was a real, believe it or not, he was super, super popular. Everybody wanted to be his friend, And I did kind of a memorial for him on Facebook where I showed a bunch of pictures of him and stuff like that and talked about him a little bit. A bunch of people we grew up thanked me for doing that, And but he deserved it. And I got up. Everybody was a little shy at the gathering, and I got up and started telling stories of things that happened. And it's like when I was getting ready to leave Henderson, Nevada, and move to Long Beach, I called up this buddy of mine, the one that died recently. Speedball, and I said, hey man, I go, I'm ready to move down there now. I've saved $400. I'm ready to move to California, I said, but I gotta have an apartment with a garage because I got to bring my Harley Davidson. I was only 18 years old. Harley, and so he finds me one, and I get there, and he goes, but you better hurry. The ones with garages don't last long. And I got there, and I banged on the manager's door, and my wife answered. Not my wife yet, of course. And she was, I had just turned 18, and she was, let's see, how old was she? Let me make sure I get the story right here. I had just turned, well, I'm 2 years older than her. I think she was like 16, and I was 18 when I met her for the first time. And her parents managed this apartment complex, but her dad was also a millwright. It was a great job. They were affiliated with the Carpenters. They put all this equipment in, when auto manufacturing companies would change, the styles and stuff. All new equipment goes in. And you know what? I was always out working in my garage when he'd come outside on my Harley, and he always had big sockets and stuff that I was missing that I needed. I go, hey Joe, you don't have a socket this size, do you? Well, let me look. And he always had it.
And we so don't need that dude.
Started just kind of hanging out while I was working on my bike because we both did a little mechanics work and stuff like that, And so I got to be friends with her dad, and then later on friends with her. Not instantly, but down the road, Anyway, so that was my friend I was just talking about that found that place for me, and my wife of like 48 or 9 years now, I could have knocked on any other apartment manager's door in that whole town of Long Beach, and I would have never met her.
Wow.
You know, you talked about George earlier in his artwork. Looks
Yeah.
like he just posted something for Taylor Hawkins.
Oh, right on.
Oh, he did. Look at that.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
That
Very
is a
good.
really that is a really
That
good
is
picture.
wow. That is cool. Yeah,
Look at the detail on that.
that it really pops. That's amazing.
Did he? Yeah, oh my God! Did he do that on Instagram?
It's on Facebook.
Oh, it's on Facebook.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go check.
George actually did a portrait of my wife after she passed away, and
That's
I love
amazing.
that. I love that
Oh, he
portrait.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
What a
did.
great job.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I've got to tag out.
Yeah.
Even
yeah.
though I'm at the as he knows
Okay.
it's 10:35 here in Texas.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I didn't think it was going to go near this long. So.
Oh no, you guys keep it going. You got it rolling. I've got to do my book things on Tuesday night, so I record my stuff in advance tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I've got to go through that. So for the followers, lumarsbooks.com, come and check me out. Thank you guys. Yeah, folks on the book, Lumar's official, blah blah blah. It's all there. Google me. All right, you guys.
Really,
I will
really
see you next round. Thanks for having me on again. Peace out, everybody. Don't overdose, everyone. Stay here with us. Take care.
See you, Lou.
All right, bye, Lou. Yeah, great guy. I really enjoy having him on. Let's see. Okay, so I've got a few more names, and if anybody in the chat wants to throw some stuff out, go ahead and do it. I've got George Harrison. Then I want Randy Carr, Social Distortion, and Lane Stanley, Alice in Chains. Okay, I did all those. Then there was Ty Longley from Great White. He died in a fire. Died in a fire. Then of course Prince 2004. I mean, that was a huge loss. It took me a while to warm up to Prince. I'll be the first person to admit it. I mean, we were still in the throes of Michael Jackson, and Prince had that. He'd do some of that high squealing kind of stuff. I don't know what music, that Michael Jackson did, and it was like when that first started, it was like one was enough for me, And then and then he came out with Purple Rain and the movie Purple Rain, and all my little nieces and stuff were really, really into him, and they started talking about how he plays all the instruments on some of these recordings and some of these albums. He plays every single instrument, and and then I started to really appreciate him. And as time's gone on, I appreciate him more and more all the time. And I've got a few Prince albums, and I've got Purple Rain. It was supposed to be an original pressing, and then I found one that was for sale. It was a copy of the original, remastered, with purple vinyl. And somehow I wound up getting sent two of them. So I had the original press and two Purple Rains and purple vinyl. I don't know if I gave one away or I still have both the purple ones. I'm not sure. But anyway, I learned to really appreciate Prince. He's just a fantastic talent. And then, of course, we lost Eddie Van Halen. And that was a huge loss, I really liked that music, and I got to see Eddie Van Halen in concert at the Paso Robles Fairgrounds when he had reunited with David Lee Roth, and so that was fun. I really enjoyed that, and I've told the story many times. But when we're all standing up, clapping and shouting, wanting an encore, all of a sudden Eddie Van Halen walks out by himself with a little wooden stool, walks over and lowers the microphone, and just sits there with his guitar, and it probably soloed for like 25 minutes, and that was really special to see that,
Yeah. The last time I saw Eddie Van Halen wasn't in concert. He was actually at Dimebag's funeral. That's the last time I actually saw him in person. And of course, on the second album, he's got that. I think he called it the Bumblebee. It's a yellow and black guitar, and that guitar was actually buried with Dimebag.
Oh wow. Okay, hold on one second. I'm having trouble hitting the wrong buttons. I just hit the control button and lost my screen again temporarily. Oh. I just want to say good night to JB. He's got to get up in a couple of hours. All right. Good night, buddy. Thank you for showing up. I want to thank everybody for showing up. I really appreciate all of you, and you guys have great comments, a lot of help. because we don't have all the answers up here. Sometimes we like to read the answers off the screen. But anyway, so we really appreciate you. But I had a couple more names here I needed to throw out, and if anybody else wants to throw out a name from the 2000s, from 2000 up to 2022 now, that last 12 years, we've covered most of the other stuff. But Eddie Money died in the 2000s. Jeff Healey, the Jeff Healey Band, and of course, in the last couple of days, Taylor Hawkins, drummer for the Foo Fighters, and David Grohl, So anyway, if you guys have some names to throw out, Bob says Nick Massey, the Four Seasons. Okay. Gloria says Jenny Rivera. We see you, Mr. Royce. Yeah, this is kind of a different screen setup I'm looking at. We're all big, and usually I'm in a little different place. I mean, I'm not going to say it's that one usually. I think it's usually more like that.
Yeah.
But I actually kind of like this, because I know when I used to have these other co-hosts that were permanent for about 6 months, we used to always just bring whoever was talking up, and they'd be the whole picture.
Yeah.
And then, if it was just we're all jointly talking, it'll all get small again. But it was never this size, and this is a great size for everybody to interact. And let's see. So what else? Okay. Well, Bob mentioned Chris Cornell, and we did bring up Chris Cornell, and what a loss that was. What a talented guy. That was a great band.
There were several tragedies there,
Yeah.
Several tragedies because Chris Cornell, committed suicide, and what's his name? Chester Bennington from Lincoln Park. He was he was their godfather. And,
he was.
So Chris Cornell's kids now have the godfather is Chester Bennington. Then Chester Bennington kills himself. I go, oh my God.
That's crazy.
I met Chester one time at the House of Blues on Sunset, Hollywood. He was there for one of my events, and only met him one time.
Okay. Well, let's see. Mary Jane Blanick brought up Steve Priest from the band The Sweet. Let's see. Then we have Julia. Well, it's been fun, but I need to go. I have to get up for work in the morning. Y'all take care and good night. Julia, thank you so much for showing up.
See you, Julia.
We really appreciate you and enjoyed having you. And thank you, my friend. All right. Good night, Julia. Caitlin, do not forget Chester.
Yeah, Chester Bennington.
Oh, Chester Bennington. Okay. Bye, Julia. Yeah. Goodbye, Julia. Boy, this is the first time I've actually been able to type anything in the chat. I mean, it was kind of a busy night, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure how many was in the chat at one time, but it seemed a little busier than normal.
Yeah. Well, there was so much to talk about, and I still feel bad that somebody new came on and I didn't wind up reading any of his comments. And then all of a sudden I saw a message from him saying, well, if nobody can see me, I might as well go. And he left. It really kind of bummed me out. Anyway.
Man, it is hot here in Texas today. Whew.
Is it? Yeah, it was it was hot here yesterday, but it was kind of cool today, a little cooler.
It got to 94 in my backyard today, so.
Oh, did it?
I was thinking, what the hell happened to spring? I mean, we went straight from, cold weather straight to hot.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of different here because we do have the 4 seasons, although it snows maybe once every 10 years. I think I've been here like 35 or 6 years in this house. I think we've had 2 snows, and
I could live without the snow.
Yeah, but we can get hot, and I'm grateful that one of the selling points of where I live up here in the hills was it was supposed to stay 10 degrees cooler in the summer and 10 degrees warmer in the winter and not freeze as much. And that has been the case. We're 11 miles from the ocean. We get a breeze from Cayucas Beach, kind of blows through here. It starts in the early afternoon, and it really helps. But the weather is we're in a drought for one thing. So we didn't get.
Yeah.
I think it rained twice this whole year, which is ugly, you know. And so that's getting serious. We've been in a drought for 7 or 8 years. There's some areas, rural areas, where the wells were sucking sand a few years ago, and they all had to get deepened, you know. So I'm on city water. You know, that's another thing I like about this. Even though I'm out of town, I'm still in the city limits.
Yeah.
So I still have city water, natural gas, you know, of course, electricity and things like that. So we have everything, but
the weather here in Texas is so strange, you know. Like, well, we're under a drought as well, you know, but we'll have things like, you know, we got some bad thunderstorms coming in, I think Monday night or Tuesday night. And
okay.
they're going to be severe with high winds, big hail.
Wow.
You know, at the same time, there's a huge fire danger. You know, right now, I mean, they've been fighting fires out in West Texas for the last week or so. And, you know, even when it rains, it just stops it for like a day. Then kind of like California, it's hard to stop those fires, you know, during a drought, even if it rains.
Right.
And so, you know, then we have these severe thunderstorms like we had last Monday. There was 12 tornadoes in North Texas. In fact, you know, Caitlin and I were kind of Caitlin and I were kind of chatting back and forth when I was outside. You know, there's sirens are going off, tornado sirens, and I've been here so long that it doesn't really scare me anymore. You know, it's just part of life.
Right.
And of course, you probably saw that kid that got hit with that tornado down near Austin. Flipped his Chevy truck upside down, then he drove away afterwards.
Right.
You know, well, Chevy gave him a new truck, and I was there yesterday when they presented.
Yeah, I saw the video you put up. Yeah, that was cool.
That kid he's one lucky kid. You know,
he is one lucky kid. Hey, let me show a few pictures here real quick. You know, I took the time to load them all. Let's take a look at some of these pictures. Okay. Let's see. Okay, look, there's Tupac down bottom right, you know, John Lennon next to him, Johnny Cash, Charlie Pride. I love that picture. I had to put that one up. And then, of course, John Lennon. Taylor Hawkins. Yeah. Look at that, Randy Rhoads. I couldn't decide whether that picture or the one where Ozzy's holding him up while he's playing. I've always loved that picture. Prince. Jimmy. All-time fave of mine. Elvis. MJ. Michael Jackson. Wow. Okay, come on. Next picture. Jim. Yeah, Jim. And then we got John Bonham.
I met his son one time, Jason Bonham.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah. He did a drum clinic here in Dallas back in the early 90s, and I recorded the whole thing, got him playing the drums.
Wow.
And he did a thing where he would play a drum solo, and we'd have to guess which Zeppelin song it was, you know.
Oh, no kidding. That's cool.
Yeah. And that was when he had hair. And that was also the day he found out his wife was pregnant. And,
oh, God.
Someone was asking if they knew it was a boy or girl. And he goes, no, we just found out she's pregnant. And now I've seen a picture of his son. Oh, my God, looks just like John Bonham.
No kidding.
You look that up. Look at Jason Bonham's son.
Okay, I will.
Looks just like John Bonham.
That's wild.
Looks just like Grandpa.
I love this picture of her on the Harley.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell, it's a Harley. I can't see the motor. It could be a Triumph or anything else, but yeah. So those are some pictures I put up, and just wanted to run through those. Go back up here to the chat. Let's see, Gloria. Before the pandemic, there was a show in Vegas called. Oh yeah. I remember seeing signs. I can't remember what casino that was in. Bloss, the drummer of Slaughter, was the drummer of that show. Oh, no kidding. Oh. I can remember one of my daughters fell madly in love with Bloss Elias. At the time, we're all Slaughter fans. We all watched a lot of MTV together, the whole family. And yeah, Bloss Elias, Mark Slaughter, they were real popular in our house. And we had their CDs and stuff like that. But my oldest daughter she wanted to marry Bloss Elias when she grew up.
Bob has mentioned Jeff Healey in 2008. Jeff Healey,
Yeah.
I met Jeff Healey, I think in 2007. He played at the Stevie Ray Vaughan ride, and I've got some good video of him playing
Yeah.
the guitar in his lap. It was
Right.
good.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, I think he played at the tribute to Hendrix concert I saw twice, where a lot of guitar virtuosos showed up to play Hendrix songs, and with their own bands, and they were coming out in pairs and pairing up afterwards and all playing together Hendrix songs. It was, I told people for a long time it was the best concert I've ever seen.
I'm not sure how Jeff Healey passed away. I can't remember how.
I don't know either. I know he was on one of my lists. I don't know if I have a mention of.
I mean, he was fairly young. I mean, I think he's
fairly young. That's right. Yeah.
I know he's blind, but I don't know if that had anything to do with the cause of death, cancer. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't either right now. Yeah.
Well, I remember when I was recording Jeff Healey. See, I know the organizers for the Stevie Ray Vaughan ride, and Jeff Healey's out there playing, and it's just a small club. So I'm right there. I'm right there, recording it. This guy tapped me on the shoulder. He said, "You can't record him." So I shut it off, and I looked at him, and I told the organizer, I said, "This guy said I can't record him." He goes, "Screw him. It's my event."
That's great. That's great. I've got that Alice Cooper concert coming up. Ace Frehley's going to be there too. It's the 23rd of April, right here at a winery, just 10 miles from here. They got a little amphitheater at the winery. A lot of good shows there. ZZ Top's coming, and who did we see there? Bryan Adams. We saw Bryan Adams there, and the Beach Boys were there a month or so ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. Anyway, so they get a lot of good shows there. So I'll be going there to see that. And I'm just trying to figure out, is it worth it trying to make videos and stuff? I mean, did you say you put the videos of the last concert you went on Facebook, and did they take that down?
No, they don't take it down. They just know that more than likely I'm a third party. And so if I can prove that I'm a third party, that they'll allow me to monetize it, but I have to split the money with whoever has the copyright on that. So
so if you put it on YouTube, that's when you get your copyright.
Yeah, but it's not a strike.
It's not a strike, but a claim.
Copyright claim, yeah.
Yeah,
so
that's
big
right.
difference.
And you have to split. Yeah, big difference. It's like lose your whole show on a strike. But
I've never had a strike, but I've had a whole lot of copyright claims.
Claims. That's all I've ever had.
Just deal with it as good. If you don't agree with it, dispute it. They'll come back within 30 days, with their result. But don't ever dispute their result, because they said if you lose, it's a strike. So don't dispute don't dispute the dispute.
Don't ever dispute their decision. Okay, that's good to know. That'd be crazy to get your show shut down.
No, there's a show.
Caitlin loves Bryan Adams. Okay.
There's a show coming here in town. I think next week or a week and a half. Billy Bob Thornton and his band. And I thought,
he had a band.
Oh yeah. I thought, I might go record that one. I might go do my 360 camera on that one.
Did you see that 360 thing I sent you from Kevin Loves Tacos? I just tagged you in it.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a kick in the ass.
I love the 360. It's taken a while to get used to.
Yeah.
But the things you can do with it is unbelievable,
Well, before you started talking about getting one, I was so impressed when I watched Kevin ride his bike through town, and it was like being filmed overhead and everything else. I was like, I said, Kevin, how in the hell did you do that? And he goes, well, it's called the so-and-so 360. And he told me the brand and everything. And I wrote it down on my desk platter, and I looked it up, I Googled it, and just looked at it, but I haven't done anything since.
Well, I had that video that you looked at, like I said, to get the full effect of 360, you got to move your phone around or swipe the picture.
Yes. I read that when you sent that message to me saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's one part. I had my selfie stick over my shoulder, and the camera was like 6 feet behind me on the end of the selfie stick. But when you look at the video, it looks like I'm just walking. The selfie stick is invisible. Yeah.
You're walking backwards.
Well, in that view, it's backwards, but if you spin it around, you can see me forward.
No, that's right. Yeah.
And you can look.
Well, I'm going to try that because I want to see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you can scan up and look at the sky. You can look all around. You don't have to look where I'm at. You can look anywhere in that 360. As long as you're swiping the camera or moving your phone around.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool. But like I said, once I mastered the 360, I'm going to go into the 3D. You know, doing interviews in 3D. You know, that's pretty cool stuff.
So that'll be crazy, yeah. Well, guys, I think we're gonna head for the barn here. Thanks a lot, Dan. I appreciate you coming on. I was hoping you'd show up, and I want to thank everybody. You know, everybody that's here. You know, Michael, I appreciate you showing up, and Kate, and Bob, and Gloria, and let's see. I got to scroll up now. It's the ranks have thinned out a little bit. I don't want to miss anybody. Caitlin, Gloria, Mary Jane Blanick, thank you very much for showing up. Good friend. Julia, thank you. I think Julia left already. And so Frank James, thank you. And I really appreciate y'all. Michael Nolan, you know, appreciate all of you guys. And
I have to
you guys make the show. There is no show without there is no live show without you guys in here chatting and stuff like that. So
yeah, I'll have to check out Michael Nolan's Bottom Line.
Oh yeah, you'll like it. He's a very I love the way he presents his shows. You know, I've been watching several of them lately, and I like watching him work. And he does a really good job. Very, very knowledgeable. Yeah. Okay, guys, thank you very much. We're going to end the broadcast, and we shall see you next Sunday. Bye, Dan.
Take care, everybody. See you.
Y'all.